I do. He is now out. Oh, that pulse bomb, you gotta watch it. Does it catch anyone? It gets rid of Cluck. Another crucial member of Classified is now down, but Chisakita comes alive.
That gets to the beats only on themselves. They're getting the touch here. It will force overtime. It took a little long enough to have some help from the here, but they immediately lose their first. The rest of their team already two. Make it 3 members of the Crackers around. The PP Plunderers can taste it. They're gonna lock.
363 regular season matches, over 600 players, 92 teams, 4 skill divisions, all in the search of one title.
These 8 teams have poured their blood, sweat, tears, their very hearts and souls into getting to this point.
The moment we've all been waiting for is finally here.
A journey that's been filled with triumph, with loss, with the anticipated, and with the unexpected.
From dominant performances to nail-biting tiebreakers, and every player putting it all on the line.
We have our underdogs, who've come out of nowhere and taken everyone by surprise. We also have top teams from previous seasons, coming back and looking to rewrite their story. They're now here, hungrier than ever, trying to learn from past defeats and ascend to the throne.
For some, this is a chance to make history. For others, it's to make up for the past. To make up for getting so close, but failing to reach it.
4 teams who have constantly fought to be the best in the limelight. 4 teams who have battled through the darkest nights to reach the dawn.
This is it. The final stretch. The battle for the title of champion.
The stakes are high, the competition is fierce. This is where legends are made.
One last gauntlet remains, separating these 8 teams from calling themselves champions.
Four one-loss teams enter tonight, all vying for a chance to be in the grand finals next week, and we have ourselves a hell of a series here tonight. The number 1 overall seed Titan going up against the number 4 overall seed Volcanic in your Ascendant Tier semi-final. My name is Dexatron. I am joined by Gedster. Man, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a hot minute since I've casted in this particular box, this Tranquility production setup. It's almost unfamiliar to me, but it feels like coming home, and I'm really excited to bring this series tonight because, like you said, this is for a spot in the grand finals. The 1st and 4th seeds of the Ascendant Tier made it all the way here. Both of them you mentioned only losing 1 game throughout the season, but one of them was to the other. Can they break that? We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, but we do have our other semifinal going on tonight as well over on Tranquility GG2 of Second Chance and Chicago Deep Dish. That will start at about 8:35, so, pull up, a split screen thing, watch both games go on, because they are going to be two great series here tonight. The Ascendant Tier, I believe this is the first year of it being back in Trank in a long time. It has been exciting so far. A lot of great competition, and we have ourselves a treat here tonight.
Oh, absolutely, we do. Like you said earlier, Titan versus Volcanic. It's gonna be a little bit of a banger, I can't lie. Although I will say, as somebody who hasn't been keeping up super closely with this season of Trank, can I just say Chicago Deep Dish is one of my favorite team names ever? That's fantastic. I wish I'd thought of that for some of my older teammates or something like that. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. But as we're talking about the teams, why don't we actually show you the journey that these teams have had to get to this point so far in this championship bracket. You see Titan there going up against, I believe that was just Bonkers, sweeping them in their first series. Volcanic then went up against, I believe that is, the Reborn Racers, beat them 4-2. The only series in the first round here not to be a sweep, but everyone other than that was a straight sweep. Second Chance sweeping them, and Chicago Deepest sweeping in their series as well. So you look at this here a little bit. Volcanic, they dropped those two maps in their quarterfinal match here. Do you think that helps them coming into tonight, maybe having a little bit more practice, or do you think that kind of hurts them?
I think it might end up hurting them a little bit here, just because, they had to work a little bit harder to get past that 5th seed. Speaking of the seeding, by the way, whoever seeded this bracket is probably just by regular season standings or something like that. But this whole bracket has gone by seeding so far. But man, Volcanic losing those two maps, maybe it breaks you a little bit. Maybe you look at it as, oh, it was practice. Maybe you're like, dang, we dropped 2 maps to them. How did we do that? There's really no way to know until we go in, and I'm very excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit here. The 4 teams that are left were the only teams that had 1 loss in the entirety of the regular season. Volcanic, I think, got their second loss in the knockout bracket too. I believe it was Titan here, so they are looking for a little bit of revenge right now, but both of them made to this point right now. So a lot to look forward to in this game here tonight. But Gedster, I reached out to both teams, either their coaches or team captains, to try to get some information about them. Yeah, they're both very good teams and everything, but I wanted to try to figure out what's their kind of play style, what do they want to do, and each team kind of gave us very vague answers. When you look over at Volcanic, they just want to play something that really lets their Pharah recurve get a lot of value. And I talked to Bill TF2 for Titan. They just said they like to play silly stuff. What do you think silly stuff means?
Silly stuff has historically in Overwatch meant a lot of things, right? You can't just read silly stuff and immediately know. We could see Roadhog, we could see Bull, we could see really anything. That silly is such a broadly applied word across the history of this game we love so much, Dex, that question cannot be answered until we see the heroes that have been selected. And frankly, I cannot wait for that question to be answered, because if there's one thing I love, it's unconventional Overwatch.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you start to consider how good these teams are, these are the open tier teams, some of the best players across all of Overwatch here. But Gedster, we do know what our first map of the night will be. Titan has chose to bring us to the control map of Nepal here. So what kind of comps do you expect to see on Nepal?
We already know that one team, Volcanic, really likes to run their Pharah. Recurve is going to be on that hero a lot, and they're going to be playing around to enable that. But Nepal, historically, pretty good for a couple different comps, depending on the point we're going to. Maybe a little bit of Rush here and there. I know it's niche, but we did see a whole lot of Bastion Symmetra in the playoffs of Overwatch League recently. I don't know if we see that tonight, especially if there's going to be a Pharah floating around, but I don't know. We could see Rush. We could see Bastion. We will see Pharah, probably. Recurve is evidently very good at that hero, but it looks like we're going to be going in here very shortly, Dex. The map is loading, and we're going to be starting out on Sanctum.
Yeah, a good map here to start out with here. Somehow, we're not in the map just yet, but somehow in the mere second, one player was able to walk out of spawn and walk off the map. But I mean, we're loading in now. But you know, I asked the people I talked to for both team how they're feeling coming in this one here. Do they feel like they're at their peak? Volcanic said that, you know, they feel like they're getting better every day. So in my opinion, they're not at their peak yet, but they're very close to it. Titan, on the other hand, said yes and no. They're playing the best that they have to this point, they're saying, but they're still the most chill they've ever been.
And I mean, going into a match like this, obviously very high stakes. Again, you win, you go to the grand finals of Ascendant Tier. Lose, you go home with your heads held low. But man, there's a lot of pressure going into this, and you've got to remain in that nice little middle ground between confident and like humble, right? You can't get too confident, because then when things start going wrong, you just crash and burn and it goes super poorly. But how about these compositions here, Dex? We got a Bastion, a Junk, a Hanzo, and a Mei. 4 completely different DPS in the game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about Recurve a little bit, being of that Pharah player. Coming out on the Mei for Volcanic here is really interesting for him. But Coconut on the Hanzo, or being taken out here by Bill. That's not a good thing. The Immortality Field or being taken out as well. And now Bill using the mines to get into that backline there. Find Cam and Volcanic already having to just walk themselves back towards their spawn while Titan caps point.
A very, very long time ago, Dexatron, I casted a tournament, and the winner of that tournament was a team called Bill Sucks at Junk. I'm pretty sure this is the same Bill they referred to. And let me tell you, this man is not bad at Junkrat. They were lying to me a little bit there, because, man, every time I see this Junkrat, wherever he is in Tier 3, Tier 4, whatever we call this, he's popping off. But right now we're not talking about him. Now goes the Bastion onto the ground, eventually falls to the Storm Arrows.
Yeah, Volcanic trying to play really fast here to get rid of Heavenly, which is a lot of damage done here, but Bill still can provide a lot of damage in their own. They're still in the backline there. They have Pro right there to help them, and they have the Riptire already. Wow. Good try to use here. Dean finds Silent, though. The Riptire going to be taken out by Cam, while Volcanic tries to get something going towards point. Cam now doing a lot to help their team out here. Titan, though, are off-tank going to lose their mech here, and eventually Volcanic going to be able to win out this fight and cap the point.
Cam got 4 kills in that fight. This is Baptiste is popping off right now, hitting every shot necessary, picking up a little bit of the slack. But Coconut, interestingly, swaps over from the Hanzo that was working so well over to the Tracer. I actually quite like this pick, but I'm curious to know what the reasoning going into it was. Coconut, you can see him though over on the flank.
You know, I probably know the reason. You looked at Heavenly, looked at Offmain, even with them swapping over to the Arista. Those are 2 big targets. A lot of damage can be pumped into them. You can look for get pulse bombs, and you see Amp Matrix coming out from both sides here. They're going to be dueling Amp Matrices, but it looks like Titan's going to be the only one that finds a lot of value with it, as Offmain was just able to force everyone back there from Volcanic, with Dean able to find Bill out early, B coming out here from Slimal as they just try to get out of this area, but they're finding the kills they need right now. And even with Titan investing a couple ultimates there, they're not going to be able to find anything.
Volcanic played that phenomenally throughout that entire fight. The usage of the Sigma cooldowns to block the damage from Heavenly, the kiting away from the window so it couldn't get value, and then pushing back immediately once turret and window were down. Phenomenal stuff from Volcanic to hold on to the point, at least for now. And they've got a couple ultimates here to work with as well. Watch for this pulse bomb in particular.
Yeah, but Recurve had a Blizzard ready to go last fight. They used it at some point. I imagine it did find a kill, but Coconut in the backline looking to get the stick on someone. They just throw it out there instead. Not going to be able to find anyone. All they do get is the trap. Already the Immortality Field down and out for Volcanic. Recurve also thrown out of this fight there by a nice grenade there from Heavenly. The Flux coming out here from Dean, but I believe it whiffed on everyone the beat, though, coming out from Pro, as they want to play aggressive and try to get Volcanic to fall back. Terror Surge coming out here from off main. The Tire going to be able to find someone this time as Bill finds Coconut there. And Titan looking like they're going to be able to retake the point here, but still Volcanic has some members here, but they're a little bit in too deep.
Yeah, they've got members here, but I doubt they last a whole lot longer. Cam and Dean both looking pretty low and in dire straits. Silent does get traded out, but at this point, without your Sigma,
Slimal.
It might be... Slimal? What are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
What are you doing? Off the map there, Heavenly going to find 2 of their own. Okay, and you saw an off main there, almost just javelin Coconut off the map into the pit. They just javelin them instead to the point. However, Titan's still holding on to it here.
Yeah, super well done from both sides to just get a couple stagger picks, but in the end, it just means that Titan continues to tick up, and now we're at 80% and going forward. Volcanic is the only one that has ults right now. Heavenly's really close to this artillery, but other than that, there's not a whole lot to work with. The beat comes out and Heavenly goes down. The Blizzard as well. Dean finding a couple final blows in all of that, and just like that, Volcanic should be able to take this round.
Yeah, and honestly, it was just all off of Titan being a little bit over-aggressive, and yeah, that's how they've been wanting to play this entire round so far, but because of that over-aggressiveness and Recurve having that Blizzard ready to go there, it punished them almost immediately. You have to give Chem a lot of credit. That Immortality Field saved a lot of their members in that one, because the Bastion for Titan was in Wheels form, absolutely about to melt down anyone they could see there. And Volcanic, I mean, they played that point really, really well, in my opinion. Even with, you know, the only player we really got any information about was Recurve and the Pharah. They played an excellent Mei.
Yeah, absolutely. That Mei was pretty damn good on that first point there. And I mean, you got the point off of it. You're already showing that you have more proficiency than just the Pharah you hinted at earlier, so we could see anything. And speaking of seeing anything, that's a Genji.
Yeah, that's a Genji, and also a Junker Queen coming out here for Volcanic right now. Titan still wants to try to run this Orisa at the moment. You see off main getting a little bit of damage. They're going to be able to get healed up by Silent and Pro. But now, again, you see this this very aggressive play that Titan wants to do. They want to try to get that space early, force Volcanic to use some of their abilities to try to get in, re-engage into the fight. And so far, it's working out very good for them here. Points just about to open up here, but at the moment, it looks like Titan's going to be able to cap it here first. You do see one member of Volcanic there try just to get it on to contest, but Dean getting very low, going to be healed up by their two supports right there. A good job by the supports for Volcanic so far, but still, no one cap point yet. Bill, though, finding Slimal. That will be the point take for Titan, while Volcanic still going to try to fight a little bit.
Yeah, with Slimal going down that early, eventually you're going to start losing out on everybody else. Speaking of which, there go Cam and Dean. But, man, these compositions... I don't know that I love this composition from Volcanic. Obviously, these heroes can all work, but I don't know about the Queen with this. Maybe picking, like, I don't know, a Diva or something, but it just doesn't feel like the Queen does enough with the rest of these characters on the composition to, you know, outdo what Titan is doing with their comp. Maybe I'll be wrong, though.
I mean, I'm kind of agreeing with you so far, but again, it might be the same thing where they're expecting Titan to play very aggressive like they were at the end of last map, and if they punish that aggressiveness, it's going to be really hard for Titan to come back into them here. Pulse Bomb, though, coming out here from Koga, not going to be able to find anyone there. Now the Consuming Rush coming out from Cam, has to use their Suzu to keep themselves alive. Koga in the backline, going to be able to find Silent there. Now the Blade coming out from Recurve, able to slice their way through Bill there. A nice boop there from Pro to keep themselves alive, but oh, Heavenly. They walked straight into that Blade. Cam going to take care of off main, and after 53%, Volcanic finally takes the point for the first time.
Yeah, really well done to them. Good use of 3 ultimates. But that's the problem. They used 3 ultimates. 4 if you count that Pulse Bomb that didn't do anything at the beginning of the fight. They only have that Rampage to work with. And Titan has Sound Barrier. This seems like a pretty clear-cut fight for the Titan. Especially with this tire coming out. They know where Coconut is. Where's this tire going? Takes a teleporter. Finds Slimal. Super nice play there from Bill. And Heavenly, there goes the Rampage.
Coming out from Dean, they're able to find Silent though before, so a huge pick off there for Volcanic early here, getting rid of the main source of healing for Titan. The beat does come out from Pro, only able to keep enough of them supported there, but you do see Bill find Recurve. Off main finding Cam, Dean will also fall there, and now you just see Coconut and Slimal here just trying to contest this point as long as they can. They're going to try to keep it up, but eventually 45% is all they're going to be able to get.
Yeah, they only get up to that 45 mark, like you say. And again, they used everything they had left there. They had to use the Rampage in an attempt to hold on to that, but a good beat from Riot means that that didn't really get anything. And now Titan has the Symmetra wall to work with. Meanwhile, Volcanic needs a massive Pulse Bomb in order to potentially stop this from going to a third point.
Yeah, but again, off-man being a little bit aggressive. Pulse Bomb coming out. They have to fortify to keep themselves alive through it, but they're going to be able to do that. Cam immediately falling out there as Bill kind of filling up these kill feeds very early on in fights, but Recurve going to make sure they don't fill up anymore as they take care of them there. Silent doing a good job of keeping everyone supported as that Photon Barrier there from Heavenly, doing enough to try to keep them all supported right now, but Titan looking very good right now. Volcanic has to get something going here, and like you said, Gedster, they really only had that Pulse Bomb ready to go. It's going to be very tough for them to get anything else going.
They need to get something quickly here. Recurve is 80 to a Blade, but also had about 80 health when I was saying that. Gets up a little bit higher than that, but eventually, with so many members of Titan going down, you gotta think that Volcanic may be able to take this one back, and it looks like they will, especially with off main going down. It's just the Lucio stalling on the point at this point, but they will fall, and Volcanic will retake.
I think if there's one thing from that last fight there that Titan will want back, it is off main and the Terra Surge. They used it there. Yeah, they found Dean, but they weren't able to find anyone else with it. Volcanic had the members there to kind of clean up the rest of that fight. It took them a little bit to find Pro there, but look at Volcanic now. They're kind of in the reverse. It's kind of reversed from there now. They're coming up on every ultimate right now. Titan, though, only coming up on their 2 support ultimates. Yeah, those can win you fights, but Volcanic at the moment, those fights will win you. Those ultimates will win you fights pretty quickly here. The Blade Order coming out here from Recurve. The beat, though, coming out from Pro to try to keep everyone alive, and it hits everyone huge there. Kind of cancels out the Blade there from Recurve.
The Blade doesn't really get a whole lot, but that Pulse Bomb does. Off main goes down, and that could spell the beginning of the end of this map. Titan already down a couple members. There goes Bill, and Heavenly's out of the picture as well. It's just a couple supports near the point. Off main has to go over to the Doomfist in an attempt to touch Bill. This tire needs to be massive if you want to retake, and you just need to touch with off main. There's the tire.
Tire's coming out. Off main's going to be the person to touch. They dive in there, try and play a little bit distraction. Tire will find Dean. A huge pick off there as it gets rid of the Rampage here for Volcanic, and now you see the rest of Titan coming back in. This Doomfist can be a problem if you don't get rid of it fast here if you're Volcanic. Already absorbing a lot of damage. Going to throw up a punch and not going to be able to hit anyone there, but you do see Coconut Recap getting very low. A nice wall climb there from Cam. Titan, though, going to retake the point here. Dean needs to get back here fast for Volcanic, as they're still the only one that has an ultimate. You do see Dean, I believe, coming back at the moment. Someone needs to touch you. Get that touch right there, though.
Dean is back, has the Rampage in hand, but out goes. Oh! There was a stun! Perfectly timed punch onto that. And now that ultimate no longer in place. There is Molten Core all over the point right now. Everything against Volcanic, and Titan manages to secure the point 100-99 in a very close manner, but some clutch plays from the tank of Titan. Fantastic punch.
Yeah, Doomfist, I mean, we kind of were talking about it before this series kind of started. Like, Doomfist is in this really interesting spot right now where if you have a player who is very good on the Doomfist, it's going to be really hard to shut down the rest of that team, because the Doomfist, you need to provide or need to focus so much on them, or to focus nothing on them at all and just focus the rest on the team there. Offmain did a great job there with that Doomfist. Like you said, canceling out the Rampage there from Dean, but you also have to give a lot of credit to, I believe, Heavenly. That Molten Core already did a lot of damage to them if they forced out that Rampage a little bit too soon there from them, in my opinion. But they're going to stick with the Jungle Queen for Volcanic this time around.
Interesting choice, and I mean, they definitely got value out of it. I don't disagree with that. It's just still a little strange to me personally, and I mean, once you get caught out like that, you're just gonna go down. It's really hard to keep you alive in that instance, but with Silent and Bill going down as well, Volcanic are doing a pretty solid job of holding on to this one despite losing their tank pretty early. Slimemold does go down, so this is still a pretty scrappy fight for the point. The Titan should still be able to take pretty handily, especially with Offmain staying alive and finding Coconut. They will get the point first.
Yeah, and it honestly really all came down to the fact that Offmain was able to stay alive through that. Now Dean has to try to get out, but I don't think they're going to be able to here. They poked their head a little bit out too far, and now they're going to be staggered for it. A huge javelin there from Offmain. Pro going to be able to take care of Recurve there, and now Titan. I mean, again, I think they've been able to cap point first, all 3 points. Volcanic normally able to respond pretty quickly, but a great kind of re-engage there from Titan.
Not a ton of ultimate charge across the board as it stands here. Riot is 75% of the way to that beat, and there's a pulse bomb that's maybe being charged quickly here, but Coconut almost had that back cap.
But in that backline, they're off main, able to find Slimemold. Dean is able to trade it out there on the Bill, but again, a liar speed gone here for Volcanic now, as they need a way for the Genji to come back, but it looks like they still just want to try to get W key this into the point, as they're desperately trying to take a fight there. They will take the fight. They find Pro, and you see a lot of stuff come out. Coconut will get the pulse bomb kill there onto Heavenly, and eventually Volcanic able to take the point, and hey, look, it's 53% again. I believe it was that same thing on the last point.
I think it was. That's very funny. But either way, only one ultimate in this entire round has been used so far, and it was the pulse bomb from Coconut. They're gonna find the pick with that. Maybe not entirely necessary. They win the fight anyway off the back of it, but I mean, going into this next fight, there's going to be a lot of Q buttons pressed here. First of all, there's that Kitsune Rush.
Speaking of Q, already 2 thrown out. Suzu's thrown out there from Cam to try to keep everyone alive. Now the blade coming out from Recurve, going to be responded to by the beat there from Pro, and the beat from Slimo coming out as well. Like you said, Gedster, it's a Q fest on the field right now. No one still has not died yet. Finally, Offman able to find Dean, but Volcanic still doing a good job. Going to be able to trade out Bill. They're trying to find Heavenly right there. Is Recurve going to dash in, but nothing really keep him alive. Has to use the deflect to get themselves out of it. A nice play there by them, but still, Offmain being alive for Titan is huge for them here, as the Orisa can just provide so much pressure, as Heavenly able to find Recurve there. The point, though, still being contested. The pulse bomb coming out, a huge Suzu there from Silent to keep themselves alive. And now, again, Volcanic just holding on this point as long as they can, but the Rampage coming out hits all 5 members of Titan. You're seeing kills just being traded out both ways, 3 for 3, and Titan coming out on top at the end of it.
That was absurd. Like, I love this game so much, man. There's so much happening at any given moment. And in the end of all of that, Titan comes out on top, but not after giving Volcanic 70% of the point. This could still flip back in Volcanic's favor once a couple more ultimates get charged up. But for now, Titan's going to try to hold them off by using this Kitsune Rush just to sustain on the point a little bit here. Bill dies despite the best efforts of Silent. And now Recurve in your backline on this Genji, looking a little bit scary. Silent goes down. This could be a retake on the cards for Volcanic, and it looks like it will be. Off main goes down. You don't have your tank presence here.
Yeah, and honestly, once you lose, all these fights so far this map have gone, if you lose your tank, you're pretty much losing the fight there. Volcanic has been the better team so far of being able to kind of withstand a little bit and just kind of survive after their tank dies. Titan, though, I mean, they've done a great job, 94%, but Volcanic, they're coming up on 4 ultimates right now. Titan only has 3. The Terror Surge needs to be huge, and I would be looking for it to be countered or comboed with with the Molten Core there from Heavenly.
Okay, there's the pulse bomb. Another good Suzu comes up from Silent. The blade here from Recurve. Look for anything it can find. You gotta win this fight if you want to take the map here. Titan's gonna retake the point. Molten Core down. You can't really contest this if you're Recurve, but you're forced to. Eventually, you walk onto the point and you die to that. Down goes the turret. Down goes the Molten Core, and Titan, they will take the first map of Nepal after a nail biter.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, both these teams look great on this first map, but it really came down to the end there. The floor was definitely lava for Volcanic. Like you said, you saw a lot of the members of Volcanic trying to get back to it, and just they didn't want to engage onto it because they know the minute they did, they were just going to die there. This nice double boop here from the Lucy there from Slimo was huge. But I mean, a lot of great plays. I mean, we were told about a Pharah coming out from Recurve. We never really saw them. We saw them excel on a whole bunch of other characters. Off main on this Orisa looked great. Bill on this Junkrat was amazing throughout the map as well. I mean, there's really nothing I can say bad about any of the players so far. They have all been playing almost incredibly.
Absolutely. I don't think I could... Oh my word. That punch. I'm so freaking out about it. But as I was saying, I don't think there's a single player that hasn't had like a really solid standout moment yet. I think everybody has had at least 1 or 2 really, really great plays that have at least put their team in a really advantageous position. Like, everybody's pulling their weight right now, rather. And it's leading to some fantastic Overwatch. I'm really happy to see a game this close already. Hopefully that means we get more than 4 maps.
And Gedster, I'll just, you know, I think we're gonna get more than 4 maps here, because so far throughout the week so far, we've only had 1 series go be a sweep. Every other series has been at least a minimum of 6 maps. 6 maps. So we might be in for a treat here tonight. Both these teams, I mean, are really good. We talked about it. Transcendent Tier is that open tier. Some of the best players that are playing Overwatch here at the moment. But I mean, like, it is great to see this kind of game or these play come out here. And I mean, that one thing, just going back to what each team kind of talked about here, they never really told us anything about certain comps they want to play. And I think at times there, throughout the entirety of Nepal, we saw a lot of interesting comps, ones that you wouldn't really expect to necessarily work or find a lot of value, but each team did a great job finding value with the comps.
And we do have confirmation of our next point. We're going to be going to Hybrid, and the map will be Midtown. This is one of my personal favorite maps in the game. Might be my favorite that's been introduced since Overwatch 2 came out. I'd have to think about that a little bit more, so don't quote me on that quite yet. But I love this map. I love this map so much, and I'm very excited to see why Volcanic picked it.
I mean, you could always just look at it. The first point on defense is really hard to get through if you're the offense. We see a lot of times Symmetra TPs get into that into the second story of the fire station there, try to just get that high ground there with a bastion. But so far, I mean, we've only seen Titan really commit to playing a bastion. Volcanic has not. But again, like I said, there are the skybox here it's large. It is big. It is something that kind of goes towards what we were told about recurve on that Pharah. And I could potentially see it coming out of here, but again, you have to imagine, especially being this tier, that there is going to be someone there to immediately try to take the head off of a flying Pharah.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit scan being so prevalent throughout the history of Overwatch, really. Pharah, definitely a character you want to take out of the sky. I didn't know that was a thing, by the way. Like I was going to
make a joke saying, "What kind of detergent do you use? Do you use Uwu?"
I didn't want to acknowledge it, but I didn't even know that was a thing. Blizzard, it consistently impresses me how much tiny details goes into corners of maps that I just never know about until years later.
Have you seen the pigeon eating the pizza on this map or pecking at the pizza?
Yes. Oh my, I love him. His name is George.
Okay, but let's look at two comps right now. Again, I thought we would see Volcanic picking this map, maybe to have recurve play on that far. No, they're not doing that again. And honestly, we're kind of seeing the exact same things they ran last map here a little bit, but Coconut coming out on the Soldier instead. What do you think of that?
I don't hate it. In fact, I think it's a pretty solid pick. I mean, especially considering that there's an Orisa in front of them. There's no barrier to significantly slow down the railgun charge. So Coconut could definitely find a lot of value on this hero. I'm very interested to see how this goes, though.
The sim turrets right there, all three. You immediately see recurve there. Have to use the ice block to keep themselves alive, and Cam has to use the immortality field to try to keep themselves and Dean alive, but they lose their life there. Dean, Slime will all lose their life as well. And the two DPS for Volcanic just trying to get themselves out of this one without being staggered out.
Yeah, Coconut not finding a whole lot of damage during that fight either, only up to 30% of that ult charge. That was a nice spear. If you died there, I would have been very sad, Coconut. But either way, going forward here, look at this damage from Bill. He's just throwing in these grenades, finding the damage, finding the ult charge, up to 60% of that tire already. Same, by the way, for Heavenly and Recurve, 60% of the way to those ultimates. A lot of damage being thrown out, though.
Volcanic going down the alleyway right now. You're seeing the problem with this alleyway strat. If you get pressured in, you do not want to be in that alleyway there if you're getting pressured out from an Orisa like this build, though. Able to find Slime Coconut immediately able to trade out there with the railgun shot there. Too silent. Ant-Man just coming out from Cam, just trying to keep everyone away. A nice javelin there from Offmain to force Cam back, but now again Dean trying to poke their head out here, but now they're just kind of being melted down.
The recognition that they were going over towards that alleyway was phenomenal. Just Offmain using that E to get over there faster, make sure they couldn't all escape, and yeah, they kind of just locked them in there and said, take my AoE damage from Bill, take my spear, take all of the primary fire from Offmain. And yeah, being stuck there sucks. You don't have a way of getting out. You don't have a Symmetra teleporter. You don't have anything. And eventually you'll lose the fight and drain a lot of time because of it.
Yeah, they're already gone through half their time right now. They're coming up on, 4 ultimates of their own. They need to find something here. The photon barrier coming out from Heavily. It's going to be big. A nice javelin. Recurve now using the Blizzard here to try to get something here. They will freeze too, but the beat from Pro is huge to keep some of them alive. The damage also coming out from side. Going to do a good job of keeping everyone alive. And now the flux coming out here from Dean. They need to try to find someone off. They're going to be able to find Heavily and off main. We saw this a lot in the first map here. If you lose your tank, you pretty much lose the fight for either of these teams. And Coconut there with that overclock shot on the side will find them, and they find Pros as well.
See, that's another thing I really do like about the Sojourn pick. Just the explosive potential of overclock. There's not a whole lot that Titan's composition can do about it outside of sound barrier, and they'd already used it to counter the Blizzard. So, in that instance, they're looking good, and they've taken first point. That cart is going to be moving.
Yeah, but the biggest problem is now Titan. This is a very good space to hold, especially because Titan was allowed to get to it. And now, again, this Orisa, we saw Offmain do a great job on Nepal, provide a lot of pressure, make Volcanic a little bit uncomfortable. And you're seeing them already kind of split up a little bit of the team here for Volcanic. The barrier having to come out there and try to keep him alive immediately. Dean has to use that grass to eat up a lot of damage to keep Cam alive, who has the only ultimate on the field ready, but Offmain about to have their own ultimate ready to go as well. So they're going to be pretty close here, just going in and pressing that Q button.
So close here, Bill. Getting that tire just barely, but Reeker finding a headshot, making sure that tire will not be effective in this fight. Outgo a couple ultimates here. Offmain in particular going to use his to no avail, and eventually a whole lot of damage is going to go through, and Volcanic is finally going to get moving. But the amount of time drained at the very beginning of the payload's path here, Dexatron, just so good, so well done from Titan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the whole point there. They want to eat away some clock here. And honestly, Offmain was probably absolutely fine using that ultimate there. It eats a little bit more clock, saves them some time. But now Recurve going to use the Blizzard here. I think everyone, though, for Titan is able to get out of the tire coming out here from Bill as Recurve finds Offmain. But you immediately see it traded out there by Slimal. And Recurve now falls down to the low ground there to start pushing the cart. Dean, though, going to find Heaven there, who just used their photon barrier, but because of that there, you're immediately just starting to see Titan fall back. A nice railgun shot there from Coconut to find Bill, and now again, it's just Pros trying to wall ride themselves out of this one.
And he'll get out of there. He lives, he's fine for now, but 75 to that beat is going to be so important going forward here. Volcanic has several ultimates that they can work with, all of which you're going to need to be so disciplined for if you're Pros. That beat is going to be the reason you survive the overclock or beat flux. So this is going to be very interesting from Volcanic to see what their response is.
And I honestly thought D would have been a little bit aggressive with their use that flux early, knowing that Pros did not have that beat. But you see immediately trade out there. Dean finds Pros, but Bill with 2 huge kills going right back. Dean uses that flux to the find. Silent, who used the immortality field a little bit earlier to keep Offmain alive. And right now, that's the right choice. Offmain finds Dean, and it's just Offmain and Bill wreaking havoc to everyone on Volcanic.
Yeah, a lot of damage goes through, and despite both of Titan's healers going down, it just doesn't matter. They win the fight out anyway because their Orisa's there to help heal for the Junkrat. And eventually, we're at a minute left on the clock. This could potentially come down to one final decisive fight. Coconut with one of the most impactful ultimates in the game right now, if he can hit his shots, but that's about it for Volcanic, other than a beat.
And Bill has a tire radio, which, I mean, we've seen him get 1 kill in the past. I mean, watching out for a couple kills here would be huge, especially Recurve getting very close to a Blizzard as well. I would expect to see those kind of be counted out here. Beats being counted out by each other. Now the tire and the Terror Surge coming out. The Terror Surge only gets rid of the immortality field there from Cam, and now the tire going high up in the sky. It's going to be taken out, though, by Cam, who has been the bane of those tires. Already taken care of 2, I believe, so far.
You just can't send it that high against Cam, man. He's just going to hit those every single time. This hit scam Batiste aim has been phenomenal when it comes to getting those tires out of the sky. Bill falling super low, but is able to get back just in time to get some healing. Offmain, super alone on the point right now. A Blizzard goes out. Down goes the Batiste on both sides, but Heavenly will be the next to fall. Bill gonna find the pick onto Dean. Immediately falls as well, though. It's just the Lucio on point against a couple players. It looks like Volcanic will eventually be able to take this point, but There is still a potential contest that could come through here.
You see the sim coming out.
Yep.
They're going to be able to get there in time. The Kiriko, Silent, and Offman going back over to the Doomfist now.
No
That
way.
might be a huge pick for them. The punch gets them off the map, or off the point. Slime able to find
Coconut.
Heavenly, but Coconut falls as well right there. This Doomfist worked wonders for them on Nepal. They're trying to do it again here, just putting on a lot of pressure right now. Still looking for another kill to pop in here. Beat coming out from Slime as Recurve finds Bill right there, so a lot of damage taken out there for Titan right now. Heavenly making the swap over to the Tracer now, trying to just get back in time to touch, but Offmain still alive, still able to throw a punch. Nice ice wall there from Recurve to stop that punch, and the dive from Offmain. Not gonna be able to find a lot there, but they're so close to a Meteor Strike cam though, able to find pros right there. They have the Meteor Strike ready to go. They're immediately gonna use it on the point. Not gonna find anything there. Titan putting up a hell of a fight. Volcanic has the numbers and they're finding the kills they need, but still find the tank. Offmain able to find Dean there, but it's 4v1, and eventually Volcanic finally caps point B.
The hero of that fight was Slimel. Getting a sound barrier in the middle of all of that, charging it up extremely quickly, and eventually getting that just barely in time to, I believe it was Recurve who was super low at the time, but man, Recurve being able to stay alive was so important throughout the rest of that fight. Offmain almost put a nail in that one. If the sound barrier hadn't been there, we could be looking at a very different game here, Dex. But on to the third point we go. Bill gonna start out this fight with a Riptire.
And everyone on Volcanic can hear that Riptire knows it hasn't been popped off yet. They find Coconut in the backline. A huge blizzard coming out, but an even better TP coming out from Heavenly. No one gonna get frozen from Titan because of it there. So one big ultimate gone now for Volcanic. However, if you are Heavenly, you're trying to get out. The beat coming out from pros will keep you alive, but Bill finding Cam in that backline. Beat also coming out from Slime, trying to get their team out of this one here, as losing a member now could be costly.
Heavenly just kept himself alive for just barely long enough to TP away after TPing Offmain out of the blizzard. This dude's Symmetra is on point right now. Absolutely phenomenal stuff coming out from him. But as it stands, it's 13 seconds left. There's a couple ultimates left for Volcanic. Out comes a Kitsune Rush. There goes Slimel. There's a Gravitic Flux for Dean. This needs value, but there's the Suzu. No connection with that Pulse Bomb either. Dean goes down. Point presence lost. Offmain has this ultimate to work with. It is slowly but surely taking Cam's health bar down to 0. It's just Slimel and Cam, and neither will touch. 2 points and 50 meters is all Volcanic is gonna get.
Yeah, and you go back to that blizzard that Recurve had and the TP there from Heavenly. Yeah, and you talked about it. Their play after that from Heavenly was huge, keeping themselves just alive long enough to get to that beat. That's the reason that he stopped that car where they did. But you also have to give a lot of credit to Titan. This first point defense was also really good. It came down to Volcanic basically starting to run out of time and using some ultimates, and that allowed Titan to just kind of hold at the start of the point B push as well. And I mean, again, both teams so far, this has been a very even series, but we're only a map and a half through it right now. I'm still very excited to see what comes next round.
These mid-air nades. Oh my, do we get to witness this whole fight again? Because oh my word, this was a roller coaster. Nope, just a contest. That's okay. That's another great play there from Titan, by the way. That Suzu from Silent literally just saved like 3 people. Like, just, they were not going to live otherwise, but here we are. And now it's 50 meters on third point. This has been an insane Midtown so far. I cannot emphasize that enough. This has been utterly absurd.
Yeah.
And now we get to go into the second half, and I am very excited.
And this is something I talked about a little bit before coming into Midtown here. Titan coming out on the Symmetra. You're going to watch them and try to TP onto that high ground there in the fire station. Try to get there, set themselves up. But I talked about having a Bastion, and Titan did show us a Bastion a little bit on the first point of Nepal. They're not doing it this time. Instead, they're keeping Bill on that Junkrat, who has looked very good. They get the TP, but instead it's not to the second story. It's just trying to get inside the firehouse.
Oh, but Silent gets taken out on the way there as well. Bill falling as well. They might have to give up a tick here, Volcanic, but no, it doesn't even look like they're willing to do that yet. Down go Pro and Heavenly. It's just Offmain on his lonesome. He will not be much longer for this world. And that's 40 seconds gone right off the bat.
Yeah, and again, you saw Volcanic immediately realize, okay, they're trying to get into the firehouse and not going to allow that to happen. They play very aggressive, only allowed 3 to get through, but they immediately punished the other 2, and it was just kind of a hectic kind of thing there for trying to get anything going. Volcanic, a great kind of first hold there. The TP coming out, again, looks like they're able to get everyone through into the firehouse. Now they're just going to try to get set up, allow off-main to start taking some pressure on the point, but Bill away from them right now, and that backline gets very low, 6 health in a dream right now. It's about to be bullied out here by Slimal. Slimal able to take care of them, and Cam, though, already has to use the immortality field. Dean, though, out of this fight. That's not who you wanted to see fall first if you are Volcanic, and now you see Coconut getting pressured out, Recurve taken out as well. If you're Volcanic at this point, either get out or just die quickly, and it looks like everyone just decided to die quickly.
Yeah, you will absolutely take a trade when, like, oh no, our Junkrat is gone. Psych, your Sigma is gone now. You just don't have point presence at that point, and you can't stay. And that's why they immediately have to fold and just give up the point, because Titan's taking space. Off main is moving forward, and now you can't do anything with that. What a spear! Oh my god!
Damage coming out here from Silent as well on this high ground, and Volcanic was not able to do the same thing that Titan did because Coconut and Cam died pretty late in that fight. We're not able to get back in time, but now you see them trying to stall out the cart a little bit right now. They need to do that here as well, but Cam finding Bill out early. Terrorist coming out from off main deals a lot of damage. Slime will gonna pop their beat there to keep themselves alive. Photon Bear coming out as well. Recurve though gonna immediately shut down. Heavenly there now focusing in on the Lucio of Pro is gonna be able to find them as well, and this is a great kind of retake fight here for Volcanic, one they desperately need just to try to eat some clock off.
Yeah, really, really well done there from the side of Volcanic, just to stall out for a little bit longer. If they can get off main here, I don't think they will, but yeah, they're not gonna. It would have been really great if they could have delayed that for a little while longer, but not gonna happen in the end. And now moving forward here, Pros is the only one. No, they also have a tire, but Pros has this beat to work with here. Out
Overclock
goes
coming out
the
here from Coconut.
With the
Shuts
window
down
inflow.
one. They get rid of the
Get
rid of the center turret there for Heavenly, and now again they're doing a good job just forcing Titan to fall back, and Coconut doesn't need the overclock to shut down Bill, but they're able to do it there, and that is an ultimate in my opinion you could use if you were Volcanic. Cam use their damage as well, but hey, again, you're just trying to eat away some time here right now.
And notice how Titan, by the way, they don't use the beat in response to the overclock. They'll just opt to back away from it. They lose someone and then they back away. They just kite it out. They can come back and win the next fight. And they get a good start already to that. Dean and Cam both out of the fight immediately, and more will fall like dominoes right after the whole team eventually falls, and finally they'll move around this first corner.
Yeah, and again, you like you kind of talked about, with Pros not using their beat in that last fight to kind of counter out the Amatrix, it's Recurve not using their blade once they lost Cam there. They decided to hold on to it here, but it's going to be a pretty heavily ult-invested fight, which we have seen a couple times already this series. You see 4 ultimates about to be ready here for Titan, 3 about to be ready here for Volcanic. The blade for Recurve needs to be huge. The Flux will be able to clean people up, but Recurve immediately finds a deflect kill though onto Bill, and it gets taken out there by offmain. Flux coming out here from Dean to try to shut some people down. The beat coming out though from Pros to try to cancel it out. Going to be able to do it. Same thing with the Amage coming out from Silent. They're on Titan, and now you just see again off main trying to just pressure Volcanic bad. Beat coming out from both Lucio. Slimo used it there late to keep everyone else alive.
This Orisa just commands so much space and so much respect, and there's not a whole lot Volcanic's been able to do in response so far. Recurve finally pulling that blade out. No beat to respond with, but he's taking a lot of damage, and eventually Pros is going to find him anyway. Coconut finding the pick onto the tank though. Out goes the window, and out goes a lot of damage. Eventually, it's going to be a one fight for Volcanic with some solid staggers, especially under that Lucio.
Yeah, and if you're Volcanic, you're very happy about that fight there. You used a couple ultimates, 3 in total. Actually, basically all 4 you had. You see Recurve now swapping over to this Echo instead. Titan, I mean, they need a fight here just to build up some ultimates, but with that clock getting to 90 seconds right now, they're starting to run out of some time here. But again, we've seen Bill find these early picks. You need to see Bill do that again here right now to help out their team. And they're going to be playing cart right now. The railgun shot there from Coconut does miss, but does force them into the subway.
Well, they're aware that they're there. Down goes the Disruptor shot. And Bill takes a little bit of damage, forced to respect that, at least for now. But here he comes out of the tunnel, but he's going to get turned on. The rock is going to connect right into his dome, and Dean is going to take him out of the picture here. And now the majority of your damage is gone if you're Titan. You just have to back up and take this last fight.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Recurve going over to this Echo, look at Titan. They really have no one that can respond to it other than maybe Silent and off main, but Cam going to be able to take care of off main there. This is a great swap for Recurve in this moment because they have to put a lot of pressure in them. Beat coming out here from Slimal is a little bit interesting. I don't know if you necessarily needed to use that there, but that's one huge ultimate gone now for Volcanic.
Yeah, I think he tried to do it to save Recurve. I think Recurve was a little bit low at the time, but I think you definitely aren't torn up by losing your Echo there. I mean, I'm more upset about losing the Beat, but speaking of ultimates, Coconut's gonna pop his, and down go 2 members of Titan. There's the Terra Surge as well. Off main, gonna fall, and Heavenly as well. Oh my god, they're not gonna get back.
And that was a perfect play there from Volcanic. You see the beat come out here from Pros to try to get themselves back to the point in time, but they're not going to be able to. A perfect play there from Volcanic, in my opinion. They played very aggressive. They were trying to get into the face of Titan, and the overclock there from Coconut at the end sealed the deal for them here on Midtown. You saw all the ultimates Titan was coming up on, basically all 5. Volcanic, they really only had to. This play right here flip this entire map on its head because it was the last play of the game, really. Volcanic, though, going to be able to tie up the series after 2 maps.
Really well done. Phenomenally well done. I genuinely, when this map started, you asked me what I thought about the Sojourn pick, and I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure, but there's one fundamental fact about Sojourn that I always forget. If the player is good, the character will dominate. Straight up, like that's just like how the hero was designed. In terms of raw aim, if you are good enough at the character, you will just have your way with the map. And Coconut, obviously not the whole time on that Sojourn pick, but when he was, it was impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, like I said it after Nepal, I really don't think anyone has kind of been, we can point at one player and say, hey, they need to step it up. Every player has been playing great so far. This is a very evenly matched series. Again, you have to remember the regular season, all the 4 teams that are in these semifinals left the regular season with 1 loss. We are seeing the best 4 teams in action tonight right now. Volcanic and Titan gonna make sure we have ourselves a treat of a series here right now. But again, Volcanic winning that map there is huge for them. It forces at least, we're going 5 Gedster. I know you said you were hoping we won C4. Just, you know, history so far this week tells us that we probably weren't going to, but hey, we're not going to be seeing 4 tonight from this series. I do know the score for the other series at the moment is Chicago Deep Dish 0, Second Chance 1 after 1 map. I imagine they're about to wrap up with their second map as well. Remember, that is on Tranquility GG2. Pull it up on another tab, split screen it, watch both because these series tonight are going to be insane. But I mean, Volcanic, a huge map for them there. One they needed, in my opinion, because I feel like if Titan was able to win that map there, you might start to see Volcanic make, you know, start to feel that pressure a little bit, maybe make some desperation picks, ones that, you know, they're trying to like have one person take over a little bit too hard. But with that win there, I feel like it kind of settles down, that gets rid of that whole narrative, and now we're just going to see some incredible Overwatch from both these teams.
And I'm very excited to see some incredible Overwatch on our next map type, which will be Flashpoint. I believe it was Suravasa, according to the little tiny peek of the lobby screen that I saw. And it looks like, in fact, we are going to be going to Suravasa here. Interesting choice, for sure. I notice a lot of teams just prefer to play this over New Junk City, which, like, you know, yeah, I get it. I like New Junk City. I understand why some people don't, though. I understand.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at how these 2 teams have been playing so far. I mean, both teams like to play fast. We've seen Volcanic already a little bit so far play that Junker Queen, while Titan has been playing a lot of the Orisa and look very good on it, honestly. But I feel like that's what we're going to see. We're going to see the Junker Queen come out there from Volcanic, the Orisa coming out here from Titan. And again, you know, I'm not going to, after this, I'm not going to say it until we actually see it. The Pharah from Recurve, I don't think we're going to see it, but instead they have just been popping off on whatever character they have been playing. And in my opinion, a Mei is good on this map, but it might be the Genji that we saw last map as well.
Yeah, it could very well be that Genji because, I mean, Recurve is very obviously feeling confident on this Genji pick right now, and it looks like that's what he's going to be showing right off the bat here. Both teams on the Tracer, unsurprising given the amount of distance that really everybody has to cover on this map. You gotta be fast, you gotta get there quickly. That's why we're seeing Lucio on both sides as well. But a Batiste and a Kiriko to differentiate the support lines. A very similar tank line battle that we've seen previously. And then Heavenly once again back on the Torbjorn.
And Calyx coming in now for Titans. First time we are seeing them here in the series on the Tracer. And I expect them to try to get into that backline a little bit, try to shut down Cam and Slimal, but it's going to be a little bit hard for them. Coconut is going to have a little bit of an easier time doing that, but looks like they just want to take this Tracer duel right now. Looks like they're going to try to focus in on Silent, going to have to use their Immortality Field to keep them alive here. But again, that Tracer in the backline, Dean's going to be able to find them there with a nice headshot from that shotgun. Coconut with some help from basically everyone on the team shuts down Pros as well. And you're just going to see the rest of Titans fall like dominoes here.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit like those the stage 2 finals from season 2, the Titans going down one by one, and eventually Volcanic takes that first control of the first flashpoint here. Now, once again, everybody, I would like to remind you that it is first to 3 on this map, so there's a lot of game left to be played here, so it'll be interesting to see how Titan responds right off the bat. Not close to any ultimates other than Calyx.
Oh, but a huge play there from Coconut with some help from their friends, able to just melt Silent, heavily taken out as well. And Titan, I mean, you're already seeing them make some swaps. Offman got off of the Orisa there after one fight, going over to the Junker Queen instead, and you're just seeing it's not working for them so far. And a beat kill there on the Calyx there from Slimal is huge. 67% and counting right now for Volcanic. I mean, Titan, they're gonna be able to get back, but do you think they even try to contest?
I mean, it's definitely into the one fight territory point, right? Like, it ticks up faster in this mode than it does Control, so the 80% magical number that we use in that mode doesn't really apply here. But at the same time, there's also a larger distance to cross. Pulsebomb goes out. Heavenly does not get stuck. A nice little bit of evasion there from the Torbjorn player. Out goes the beat from Volcanic in an attempt to hold on to this for a little bit longer. The Rampage comes out in response, though. No more beat to work with, but it only hit Recurve. A couple players will fall, but none of the ones Titan want to fall will go down, and Volcanic will take this first point 100-0.
Yeah, if you're Volcanic, you're very happy with that fight there. You only use the Pulse Bomb and a beat while you watch Titan use a Rampage there. And I give a lot of credit to Offman as well. They swapped off an Orisa after one life, got their Rampage faster than Dean, who's been playing the Junker Queen since the start. But again, I feel like using that Rampage there for Titan, they might want that back. That's a huge ultimate, but each side has a Kiriko that can immediately cleanse that anti-heal effect off and the bleed. And you're seeing the Kitsune Rush coming out here from Cam pretty early. It's going to be countered or partnered here with the Blade. Dean already slicing their way through Pros. Silent being taken out. No supports on the field right now for Titan. Heavenly will find one, but that's going to be the only thing that Titan finds this entire fight.
Yep, that's going to be it. The Blade comes out, it doesn't find any direct final blows, but it finds enough damage that Volcanic is able to follow up on with the rest of the team. And they will once again take first control of the point here. Titan coming up on a couple of very impactful ultimates, though. It'll be interesting to see how and if they'll be able to effectively use them here, but it's gotta be massive.
Yeah, but Dean, again, this Rampage coming up. Coconut has another Pulse Bomb right now. You see them just kind of lurking in the back line, want to find that stick this time on someone forced out. Maybe that Suzu a little bit early, so Dean can use the Rampage right after that and find a lot of value with it. But you see the Molten Core come out early. The Pulse Bomb does come out. Again, not getting the stick, but Recurve going to be able to find Silent there, and Dean get it fall. Coconut falls right after that. The Molten Core from Heavenly might be the only thing Titan really needs here to take the point for the first time. You do see Recurve dive back in. I believe Cam is there to help him out, but eventually those two will be taken out, and 66% is all that Volcanic will get on the first cap.
Yeah, I mean, you'll respect that for sure, but it's actually really interesting the way Titan chose to attack that there, because obviously it's usually the tank's job to take a lot of space, and Offmain did a great job of doing that in this instance, but they used Heavenly's ultimate to just completely deny the point. And at that point, Volcanic had to go fight in an uncomfortable position. So, really well played there. But eventually, out comes the Rampage from Dean. The beat will sustain through that, and now another Rampage comes out, but there's just no contest on the point there. A lot of this is happening off the point, so Volcanic can just walk on for a moment.
Yeah,
and they're going to retake at 50.
Yeah, Titan was playing very far back away from the point. That allowed Volcanic to do that right there. They already find the first 2 picks here. And now, again, make it 3 as they find Silent. Recurve going to find Calyx there. Off main falling as well. A team kill here for Volcanic. 0.2 going their way as well. 1 point away from going up 2-1 as we will head into our break after this map.
This is potentially the speediest Suravasa I've ever seen in my life. Titan only clapping back with 50% so far, but no overtime to speak of on that second point. So.
Look what Titan's doing right now. They've swapped completely. Other than Heavenly, look at it.
Hog?
Ilari, a Moira, a Hog, of Hanzo. They want to try to find kills because that's been the biggest problem for them so far. They haven't found the kills. The Molten Core coming out here from Heavenly, but the Blade from Recurve finds one immediately, and they're going to eventually find 2 there with some help from Coconut. And again, just Volcanic. I mean, they've been looking great so far. Off main, the only one on point, but 5v1, it doesn't matter how good of a Hog player you are, you're going to lose that.
Yeah, it's not happening at that point. It's a little unfortunate that you go down that late because obviously since you no longer have that Lucio in play, you're going to take that much longer to get back to the point, giving Volcanic, rather, even more percentage. These fights are going to be so few and far between. Calyx going over to this Hanzo, though, just looking for any pick he can find. He needs something, and they need it fast because otherwise, if they lose a fight here, it's 1-fight territory for Volcanic to go up 2-1.
Yeah, absolutely. The hook coming out there from off main, gonna miss. But you do see the pylon there for pros. Dean trying to get rid of it right now. They're gonna try to slice their way through Silent, but I believe they, fade themselves out of that one. They're keeping themselves alive. Coconut gonna find Calyx, so that one-shot ability already out now for Titan. They're starting to run out of time. Pulse Bomb coming out here again from Coconut. Not gonna land the stick, but they will help Dean find off main. Silent gets taken out by the dash there from Recurve. And Volcanic, with how slow Titan really played this fight, this might be it.
Silent pops the Coalescence and immediately dies to the Genji dash. They have a captive Sun to work with, but I don't even know if anybody can touch. They have to desperately swap back to Doomfist. Eventually, a Tracer will get there from Calyx, but falls immediately. Recurve finding that final blow. Just a Doomfist on point to stall. No, short 1 DPS, and the rest of your team has to make it back here. This Moira has to be the one to touch. Silent gets there. A beat, a blade. Everything goes well for Volcanic. It's a 3-0, providing only 50% to Titan throughout the entire map. This was Titan's map pick, by the way, and they got smashed.
I mean, I'll give Titan the benefit of the doubt. There's only 2 Flashpoint maps, and not a lot of people like New Junk City. But, I mean, going to what you were saying, yeah, this was their map pick. They got absolutely rolled, and this is the first time all series that I can confidently say one team has truly looked better than the other. And I thought coming into this map here that Titan, with how fast and aggressive they've been playing in the past, that they would do that exact same thing here and maybe it would work out to their benefit. But no, instead it's Volcanic with Dean, Recurve, and Coconut and Slimecam getting themselves in and out of fights quickly. It seemed like the speed was something that Titan could not keep up with.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense. And if I'm being brutally honest here, I really did not like the wholesale swaps that Titan made near the end there. Like, the Hanzo, I understand, but the Moira, Iati, and Roadhog? No, why did you do that? Just don't do that. You need Lucio so you can get back into the fight. You need a better tank than Roadhog. I just don't understand the thought process behind that particular compositional swap, but hopefully going into the second half of this series, we'll see a little bit of a stronger showing from Titan because we know they're capable of it.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Maybe Suravasa is a weaker map for them.
Yeah, absolutely. One bad map will not be the entire thing here for Titan. But like you said, we're gonna be heading into a little halftime break here, about 5 minutes, and we'll be right back with the rest of our series. But before we go, just want to give you a quick update on the action that's going on Tranquility GG2. Second Chance is now up 2-0 on Chicago Deep Dish. Their third map of a Flashpoint map is probably going on right now. So as we head to halftime, go tune into that and then come back here in about 5 minutes. 3 maps are in the book And right now, Volcanic is up 2-1 on Titan. We've seen a lot of action so far from these two teams. Two closely contested maps, and Gedster, both me and you were talking about it during the break. The last map of Cervasa was anything but close. Volcanic looked dominant the entire time, and Titan, and we were talking about it, made desperation swaps at the end that they were all trying to do something on their own, but they weren't really able to do anything together, and that was kind of their downfall there at the end of Cervasa.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Overwatch is a team game, and every so often you'll see one of these like miraculous solo carry plays, but in coordinated play, that's something that's really, really, really difficult to pull off, and it just was, it wasn't meant to be here. With the composition that they swapped to, I'm sorry. Just don't touch Roadhog. Why are you touching Roadhog, man? Just don't play that character. He's not good.
Roadhog isn't, like I kind of mentioned with Doomfist kind of being an interesting spot where if you have a really good Doom, you can kind of carry a team and carry a couple fights. Roadhog is in this interesting place as well where I don't know if they can necessarily carry, but I feel like they can do enough to keep themselves alive that the rest of their team can find picks somehow. But I do have an update on what was going on over at Tranquility GG2. If any of you guys did hop in over there in the break, Chicago Deep Dish was able to take the Flashpoint map they played to put themselves on the board heading into their halftime break over there. So that was probably huge for them. They did not want to go already down 3-0 into halftime with their backs against the wall. So a huge win there for Chicago Deep Dish. But now, as we head in here to Colosseo, Titan's pick here. They want to play it for a reason. And again, I feel like they want to bring out that Orisa. We kind of have seen off main really excel on the Orisa so far. We do have Bill coming back in, it looks like, for Calyx this time. Calyx, I mean, me and you talked about it a little bit. They looked good on Cervasa, but it seemed like Bill is probably not a Tracer player in my opinion. From kind of what I'm getting, they wanted to have the Tracer player there on the Flashpoint map because, like you said, Flashpoint is all about speed. And I mean, yeah, Junkrat can get around, decently well, but the Tracer is just speed incarnate here. But as we head in to Colosseo here, Gedster, what do you really expect to see from these teams?
Well, Bill's back, so I'll let you take a wild guess what I'm going to say here. Probably Junkrat. Probably a little bit of that. But other than that, it's a little hard to tell. I mean, Colosseo is a map where a lot of different competitions can be played. Brawl, poke, dive, all of it has been really good at some point or another here. With the cards on the table now, looks like we're going to see a little bit of a similar compositional matchup to what we've seen previously here. A little bit of like a poke-esque, sort of brawl-esque from Titan up against it's very pokey. It's very pokey, maybe a little bit of brawl from Volcanic. The Queen just stands out here as a very strange pick to me. Maybe I'm just not familiar with how Queen plays with this composition specifically, but I don't know. It just feels a little weird to me.
And you're seeing right now with this overhead shot, Titan is trying to go essentially around Volcanic, get into their backline, make it look like they were coming out of their spawn there. And this is very interesting. You see a lot of teams do this now because they want to try to get that kind of space on them. If they find an early pick, then guess what? You're immediately walking into the backline of Titan now. But already the Immortality Field down there as Dean is able to just slice through that. You do see Heavenly there getting some damage there with those turrets, but off main gets incredibly low. Coconut going to be able to take care of them there. And like we've been saying so far, these teams have very much lived and died by their tanks. If their tank falls first, the rest of their team is shortly going to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. That little Daft Punk strategy of going around the world does not work out for Titan in this first engagement. Volcanic is going to be able to poke them out and ensure that they get the first distance. I would like to point out that Coconut already has a pulse bomb, by the way, putting in absurd amounts of work already in this map. Really well done to him so far. Now we're probably going to see this super early thrown out, but no stick. No impact from that pulse bomb, but this cart is still moving.
think so far tonight we've only really seen Coconut stick one pulse bomb throughout the 3 maps we've seen played. Build fighting Dean out early again. It's huge there for Titan as they want to try to get something going back now. And like I said, last fight we saw off main fall first. Now we're starting to see the dominoes fall here for Volcanic as Coconut gets taken out in that backline. And now it's just trying to clean up the rest. But you see Volcanic here putting up a little bit of a good fight here, just trying to stagger out or stall the bot a little bit.
You get a little bit of stall, but 53 meters for Volcanic off of one fight is just... That's just really well done. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, getting 53 off of one fight that you immediately lost, like... I'm impressed! Speaking of impressed, out comes a Blade. If this gets a ton of value, I'll be impressed, because down goes Dean, and eventually Recurve falls as well. The beat just barely too late to save his life. Slimo, Cam, and Coconut all get the effects of it, but this cart is still rolling forward for Titan. But, because of the distance Volcanic got at the beginning, it's still only at the 25-meter mark, Dex.
Yeah, you're seeing on Titan here, Silent swapping over to this Moira now. They want to try to get back to this point fast because they realize they're down a little bit, but they lose off main early in this fight because
Nice.
pros can only do so much here. Coconut can be able to find Heavenly. And again, Recurve shutting down Bill's tire. That's been something we've kind of seen throughout the night where Bill has been kind of 50-50 with their tires throughout it, not able to find one there. Dean now will clean up that fight there, but Volcanic, I don't think they're going to be able to push this barrier any more than what they already have.
I don't think that the robot's going to be able to catch up to that barrier quite yet. It just seems like they don't have... Well, they have the resources for it, for sure. It's just a matter of can they use the... Oh, they're not going to get the chance. Down goes Slimo right off the bat.
Yeah, and you see a lot of Volcanic. They're already trying to back up, get out of this one. Other than Coconut, who uses the Pulse Bomb, doesn't get the stick. Again, not going to be able to find anyone there. And now, Recurve trying to get out. Heavenly, though, with a nice shot from the Rivet Gun. Going to be able to send them back to the spawn. Titan, though, will be able to kind of extend their lead. And now finding Cam out as well. Yeah, they're definitely extending their lead. I mean, they're extending the push.
They're extending the distance for sure. They might take the lead off of it, but it's going to be very close. I will point out, by the way, only one ultimate was used in that last fight, and the team that used it still lost. But with off main going down super early, not sure how that happened, Coconut is just now allowed to run free. Silent goes down. Bill goes down. They definitely get more meterage off of that Titan, but they're not going to get the lead. They get really close, and now this is within 10 meters, but... Volcanic has once again reset this robot.
Yeah, and again, if you're Volcanic, you're looking at the ultimates you have coming in this fight. You have the Rampage, you have the Kitsune Rush here. I would expect the Kitsune Rush to come out pretty early, but then Titan, you kind of shut that down with the Terror Surge of your own here. But you see Volcanic here, they're kind of waiting for Titan to engage with them before taking a fight.
Out goes the Kitsune Rush and Molten Core. He's taking a lot of space off the back of it. Is that a Terror Surge?
Terror Surge did come out here, but I want to point out one thing. Titan's pushing the bot, and I don't think Volcanic has had anyone die yet. You see some of them trying to rotate back now. Titan off the bot here for the moment. The Pulse Bomb coming out there. Finally looks like it's stuck on someone there, but a nice play from Silent to use that. Oh my goodness, off main. Another Javelin shutting down one of Dean's ultimates. They are probably not happy at the moment. Again, shutting down Dean, but Bill finds one. However, Volcanic finding two right back.
Oh, Tire.
Tire coming out will be canceled out there by the beat from Slimo. A huge beat there from them.
Yeah, genuinely great plays from the side of Volcanic just then. The beat to, like, stop the Tire from finding a ton of value. Recurve just playing Overwatch the way Recurve plays Overwatch. Like, there's not a whole lot else to say there. Just, he's popping off right now. Off main goes over to the Sigma, by the way. Gonna be interesting to see how this hero swap affects things. And I can definitely see it being impactful here. A whole lot of damage already going out onto Recurve.
Yeah, absolutely, the Blade coming out from Recurve immediately finds Bill. The beat coming out here from Pro is going to be able to keep everyone alive except that turret because it does not get that shield that the beat provides. And now Volcanic here just trying to clean up this fight a little bit. And just coming out here from Silent needs to be able to find some value with the Coconut in the backline here. Just kind of peppering off main a little bit here. Not a lot of value coming from this Amage at the moment other than keeping Volcanic away from the collar. Pulse Bomb comes out, finally gets a stick there onto Heavily, sends them back to spawn. Slimo able to boop Silent to death there. Bill trying to do whatever they can here to keep this cart contested. They do have some help.
Wow,
Bill! Dean off main, still alive through all this somehow. Just throwing punches, throwing whatever they can. They will find Recurve, and they're going to be able to find Cam after the Suzu wears off.
Yeah, almost certainly. Down goes the Kiriko eventually. How did they hold off Volcanic from getting the forward spawn there? That is unreal. The fact that they actually did that was just insane. Bill staying alive for as long as he did, finding Dean in particular. That kill onto Dean was, first of all, insane. He's just bouncing up and down for like a minute straight, somehow kills the Junker Queen, and then off main just staying alive that whole time. But eventually, speaking of
my goodness,
the tank goes over everybody with the Rampage. No anti to speak of, but it may not matter. Heavenly and Silent going down immediately once again. Oh no, they're still losing numbers. They looked so good in that last fight, but with a couple of ultimates here, they used 3 ultimates, and Volcanic once again has control of the robot.
And Volcanic, all they need to do is just touch the barrier. They're gonna get 4 spawns here, but I have to imagine that was a boop and a mine there from Bill that got Dean so high up in the air that the Rampage found nothing but 4 spawns right now for Volcanic. It's huge, especially with only 2.5 minutes here. Bill using the tire, looking for wherever they can right now as they're just trying to roll their way around the map. They're gonna be able to find Coconut there. Gets rid of the Tracer, who's kind of been a problem in the backline, and onto off main. Off main will find Dean there, but again, the 4 spawns for Volcanic right now are just huge.
Yeah, you'll absolutely take that if you're Volcanic right now. I mean, the moment you hear the tire go out, you're just going to kite away from it, sort of like the Bastion window example we saw on Nepal, but they have forward spawns. Everybody's going to be here super quickly. So even though Cam and Recurve go down, this fight is still going to happen inside of this Coliseum before the robot leaves the pillars.
21-meter lead right now for Volcanic. Slime able to get rid of that turret very early here. Recurve does have a blade ready to go, but Pros does have the beat ready to cancel it out as well. You have to give Titan there. They were able to cancel out, or I believe, reset the spawns. The blade coming out here from Recurve will find Bill, not able to save themselves there. And now they're slicing through everyone right now, but it's going to be off main, hitting them with a huge accretion and finding them right after it. And now, though, the spawns reset. Recurve going to be able to get those 4 spawns, get back in the fight pretty quickly here.
In the middle of all of that, Pros uses the sound barrier, and it only hits him. Nobody else gets the effects of it, and this fight is still happening as a result. Eventually, Titan will be able to win it out, but man, that ultimate, if it had landed sooner, potentially could have stopped this from snowballing. Because right now, Dean is still going to get out of this alive, using that shout to get safely over to his healer of Cam. But eventually, Cam goes down. Where is off main right now?
This is insane.
He's just fighting
right
in the
now.
middle.
Dean should not have been able to live that one there, but because they do, a butterfly effect happens there, and Cam's gonna be the one falling here. Same thing with Recurve. We're essentially what might be into like final fight territory here right now. Titan needs to get something going here. They have the ultimates at their disposal. Off mid, I would expect them to use their flux here pretty early, but Silent, they've been known in the past to use their Kasuni Rush very early as well, but Slime Cam have their own ultimates as well, try to keep their team alive through it. Flux gonna come out here from off main. At this point, they're just looking for anyone they can.
Finds literally does not hit anybody. There's enough speed to get them out of there just barely in time. Recurve finding a couple kills with the help of that deflect. And eventually, I think that may have done it. Coconut falls, but it may not be enough. Pros, Silent, they all fall down. It's just off main on the point, and eventually Volcanic is going to clean it up. They will take yet another of Titan's match picks. Coliseum will go their way and put them on match point.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, I kind of talked about it. This has been an incredibly close series with Volcanic. Ever since Saravasa, they've kind of been the team that's had the upper hand in a lot of fights. Titan came out, did that around the world strat, wanted to get into the backline, but it all started to fall apart once they lost off main there very early on in the fight. And I just don't ever think they were really truly able to recover from that. Both teams did a really good job throughout it, but Volcanic, they took the fights very smart. They really wanted Titan to be the first one to engage, so they could kind of respond almost back in every fight, because that's how it kind of seemed throughout this entire map. Titan would want to engage, and then Volcanic would engage into them as well and find a lot more value. But you have to give a lot of credit to all these players. They are popping off for their teams, but right now, Volcanic, one map win away from sending the #1 seed team packing and locking themselves into the grand finals.
Look at how high in the air Dean went after that rampage. That was hilarious. eventually just winning that fight out anyway, though. I mean, that's just the power of Volcanic. They've been so good at finding their win conditions in these fights. What a good rock. Off main just being in the middle there was crazy, by the way. Good Suzu from Silent to clean up that fantastic ultimate from Dean, but it just is not enough.
Yeah,
Volcanic is looking so solid right now, man.
Volcanic
So solid.
is looking incredibly solid right now. I mean, you look at everything that they're trying to do. They're executing everything, and we kind of question the Junker Queen pick here from them. But honestly, Dean right now on that Junker Queen has almost looked unstoppable at times. And yeah, you could always say, well, their supports are doing a great job allowing Dean to do what they're doing there. And yeah, you have to give the credit to almost everyone on the team there for allowing Dean to have the freedom to just pressure out Titan here a little bit. But hey, right now we do know what our 5th and potentially final map of the night will be. We're going to be heading to the escort map of Shambali Monastery.
Shambali. A whole lot of high ground to talk about on this map here. I think it's very possible that Titan picks this map because they don't want to deal with the Junker Queen anymore. Because frankly, it's kind of been running over them for the last several maps. Like, it's not been particularly close. So maybe we see Doomfist here. We were talking about Doom earlier. Maybe we see Winston. Maybe we see, like, I don't know, Ramatra, Sigma. Just maybe not the brawl-heavy Junker Queen that we've been seeing previously.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, like, this is a map, and I know I said I would stop talking about it until we actually saw it. But this is a map that you can play a Pharah on, and we like a recurve. They like their coach specifically told us, Hyrule Hero told us that, hey, whatever Pharah comps are the team's go to. We haven't seen Pharah. We have not seen it in Pharah the entire night for Volcanic, and right now I feel like it might be something that's kind of contributing towards Titan here a little bit. They're kind of always expecting to see that Pharah come out. I believe Volcanic on the second map of Midtown, they brought out a Echo very late, and Recurve looked great on it, and you saw their Titan had really no response for it because they didn't want to get rid of it in Ultimate to try to shut down that Pharah, and it became this thing where, oh, it's really down to Silent and off main to try to focus on the Echo flying in sky. It just didn't work here. But as we head into what could be our final map of the night here, sides are swapping. Titan will be attacking first here. Volcanic, in my opinion, picking the smart thing and going defense.
Yeah, definitely starting defense. Good call for them. They've been very strong on the Queen previously, and obviously we're not going to see the Queen here, but we are going to see the Sigma instead, enabling a very poke-heavy composition. And I feel like it's easier to set up the defense first when you're playing this sort of Sigma poke-heavy composition with the Hanzo and the Batiste. So I'm interested to see. I don't think this Zarya is real. If it is, I'm going to be very excited to see how that goes, but
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Quick thing here before this map starts. Chicago Deep Dish has tied up second chance in the series going on Tranquility GD2, but hey, looks like the Zarya is going to be happening here, but we might see him just fall back in the spawn here.
Wow,
Bill already getting very low here as Volcanic wants to try to do this close hold.
They're going to be very, very up close and personal so far. Recurve doing a really good job of escaping when he realizes that the Zarya is about to melt him into ashes. But eventually, Bill and Silent are the first ones to fall. Heavenly goes down next, and the off main will be next. The entire team falls immediately. 3-point. Like Volcanic will lose out on this initial stall. Titan will finally get the cart moving after about a minute and 20 seconds.
Yeah, but hey, a minute 20 seconds gone for Titan there. Volcanic is incredibly happy with that. The only thing is, though, I mean, look at Offmain and Dean. Offmain's already out ult charging Dean after one fight on the Orisa, and I think this was the right move for Offmain. I mean, you saw it and made the swap, immediately got a lot of value. And wow. Bill, this is something I talked about in the break, Gedster. Bill is somehow always able to find picks early in fights that help their team.
No, yeah, he's not lying, chat. He literally did say that to me during the break. And here we're seeing a great example of it, just finding 2 picks out of seemingly nowhere at the very start of the fight. And we could see Cam go down here too. Nope, he's gonna live. Just some nice little evasive maneuvers with the exo boots. But this card is still moving, thanks in part to some heroics from Bill. But we could see a whole lot of Q being pressed here. Starting out with a
Tire, Dragons coming out here. The Dragons will find Heavenly. Their beat coming out from Slime, and the damage coming out from Cam as well. Volcanic doing a good enough job here, but the tire from Bill finds 2. This might keep Titan alive in this fight, but again, they're still down their tank here. I don't know how much of a fight they have left.
They don't have a lot of presence on the point to work with, but with Coconut going down to a right click from the Lucio as well. It's looking very close. Silent's gonna find the pick on the Cam. It's just the Lucio that's there. Nobody else is gonna be able to touch the blade very much. Out goes the blade from Recurve, but eventually will go down. A lot of the damage mitigated because of the beat as well. Dean retouches the cart, but not for long. Phenomenal play from Titan, particularly Bill with that tire to keep his team alive in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, I mean, if you're Recurve, you're probably wishing you had that blade back. But Coconut able to find Heavenly out early is huge for them. But again, I don't know if that's necessarily a big thing here right now.
Could maybe be important going forward here, but finding a pick onto Bill, that's pretty big. Pretty big stuff.
Terror Surge coming out here from Offmain, the Immortality Field coming out from Cam to try to keep everyone alive. Both Immortality Fields actually out and used here. Silent will follow the Slimo there, who does go incredibly aggressive there. And now Heavenly able to find Cam there. Recurve though finds Offmain. Heavenly's turret finds Slimo. It's just being traded back and forth here.
It is a 1v2 right now, a tank versus a support and a DPS, and it's looking a little bit tough for Bill. Eventually will fall. Silent, I think Silent was walking back from spawn and I didn't realize it. Yep, he was. So Bill loses that 1v1. No more cart push for now, but eventually Volcanic, they're gonna return to Dean. And now
Dean
it's looking a little bit tough.
Dean has his flex ready to go. There's really nothing that Titan can cancel it out with here. I mean, if Dean wants to use it early, I think that would be a smart move from them here. Dragon's coming out from Coconut, try to split up the team here for Volcanic right now, and they're going to allow this Ant Matrix just to go here. Titan's going to get a little bit more cart push at the moment, but still, I mean, there's really nothing stopping the flux coming out here from Dean.
Nothing except a potential spear from Offmain. That's what he's scared of. Whole lot of ultimates been canceled tonight by that ability. Eventually goes behind the barrier. He's going to be just fine. Coconut and Recurve finding a couple picks. They're going to hold on for just a little bit longer here with Offmain and Silent falling almost immediately, and Pros next on the list. 1 minute and 38 seconds left and a couple ultimates in the bank for Volcanic.
Yeah, and Titan, though, they have a beat ready to go here. Same could be said for Volcanic, but that blade again. Oh my goodness, Coconut. No. This staggers them out a little bit. You're not going to really see another contest on the cart now for Titan until about a minute. And at that point there, you might be looking at potential final fight. Coconut! No! No, a Haro Hero talked to me that Coconut, watch out for them. They can just pop off at any moment. They are popping off at the right moment.
Oh, absolutely they are. Offmain gets caught out of position and the staggers get worse. Now, it's looking real bad for Titan. They've literally just gone like 40 seconds without touching the cart at all. And it's about to get even worse.
And you're starting to see Volcanic get very aggressive on this hold here. I mean, if you're Titan, you're seeing the TP come up there, the tire coming out here from Bill. This could be huge if it finds 1 or 2. They're looking for it, but gets shut down by Coconut, who is absolutely scorching at the moment. But you do see Volcanic get the touchback. The beat coming out here from both sides. The Terror Surge coming out here from Offmain. They need to be able to find someone, but it's Bill who's putting their name back in the kill feed with an early pick. They're on to the on-fire Coconut, but Bill will immediately be taken out there by Cam, and now Dean trying to keep themselves alive through, but Silent can be able to take care of them. Heavenly takes care of Recurve, and right now, Titan, this was a fight they needed to win. They're going to be able to get point B.
They brute force their way up by teleporting the moment Volcanic steps away from that window, and just like that, they've captured the second point of Shambali Monastery. But with very little time remaining in the bank, they've now only got 1 minute and 30, and they're just starting to get this cart moving. It's gonna come down to how well they can use this.
Oh.
Whoa!
My
The coconut finding another headshot onto that crucial Symmetra, and they just don't have that photon barrier for now.
Ant Major's coming out here from Silent right now, trying to force back the members of Volcanic so they can push the cart a little bit right now. Bill in the backline will find Cam, but I don't think they're going to be able to get themselves out of this one. Slimo will take care of them there, but it does buy Titan some space right now. 1 minute left on the clock. Not a lot of ultimates. They're going to use the photon barrier there. The Dragon's coming out. Will shut down Dean. Actually, no, Silent shuts down Dean, and now Coconut being pressured out here by Offmain will eventually lose their life to Offmain here. This has been a great 0.3 push so far for Titan.
Yeah, it's been really nice. Like, the only slip-up so far has been something completely out of your control, which is Coconut being insane at the video game, but you're still moving this card forward. With 40 seconds left, you don't have a lot to work with. You just have that Terra Surge, and you're well on your way to a tire. Maybe a beat if you get lucky, but Volcanic has a whole lot to work with. They have to use this early, and they find a pick on the Slimo. That's absolutely massive. Dean going to be in the process of using this Flux. Doesn't find him a whole lot, but there's a lot of trades going back and forth right now. It's just Recurve and Cam on the point for Volcanic. A couple turrets, though. They're going to make it disastrous, and they actually finish the map with time.
Those turrets, I saw them there when it was Dean coming in to try to contest a little bit, and no one focused on them. And honestly, yeah, that's the right thing to do. Don't focus on the turrets. They can only do so much damage. But when it's your two supports there by themselves against a couple DPS for Volcanic and one of their supports, I mean, those turrets become almost like death sentences there. Great play by Titan. They desperately need to finish this map with time. And again, I mean, even with Coconut coming on fire there, especially towards the midpoint there of point 2. I mean, again, it all kind of started off with Bill, again, finding an early pick there onto Coconut. That started their entire point B cap there, and if they lose that fight there, Titan gets held before point B, and Volcanic has a great win condition.
I would also like to point out the fact that this Orisa from Offmain has been really, really, really good. They started out by hinting us, like teasing us with a little bit of a potential Zarya. That didn't work out. They lost the first fight. Immediately swapped back over to the Orisa that we've seen a lot of during the series. And it works pretty damn well. Like, I was saying near the beginning of that last fight that Volcanic had a lot of ultimates to work with. Meanwhile, Titan only had the Terra Surge. Offmain runs in, the hero of the hour, the only ultimate available to his team, and immediately makes that ultimate valuable, and that's what allowed them to win the point.
Yeah, but right now you see really no swaps come out from anyone here. Honestly, I'm not surprised Coconut's staying on this Hanzo. They found their style back. They got a couple headshots there that came alive, but again, they need to now re-engage or engage into this Titan team that's trying to hold on to high ground here.
Holding the high ground pretty effectively so far. Recurve's taken a lot of damage, but so far, Coconut's just not been given very many opportunities to find the heads of Titan. Meanwhile, Bill finding a pick onto Recurve pretty quickly early on here. Dean taking a lot of damage as well, but kind of his job. He's the tank, as it turns out. Offmain gonna back off with the use of that E.
And again, it's either Bill or Coconut finding an early pick here, or the first pick for either of their teams right now. You do see Offmain get off this high ground here, and they're going to force Slimeball back here. The Javelin will help Slimeball fall there.
So
Bill
well
takes
done.
care of Recurve. And this is a great start here for Titan on the defense, because remember what Volcanic had. About 1:20 was gone before Volcanic before Titan was able to beat Volcanic out of their spawn. Now, I mean, you're looking at it now, 1:20. It's going to be a minute 10. It's going to be 1:20 by the time Volcanic comes out of spawn.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit tough for Volcanic right now, but if anything, there's a couple interesting things to talk about here. Coconut goes over to the Sojourn that we saw earlier in the series, Recurve onto the Echo that we also briefly saw, and Cam almost has this window to work with. That's going to be absolutely massive depending on where he places it for both Dean and Coconut. Silent is going to be the one to throw down the Amplification Matrix first, though. Offmain almost to that ultimate as well. There's just there's a lot of waiting happening right now.
Terra
Goes
Surge.
the Terra Surge. Good beam from Recurve, but eventually picks go back and forth, but it's just the DPS of Volcanic right now. They're pushing a little bit, but can they sustain through all of this? Silent goes down. They just have a couple other DPS on the other side to work against here. And it looks like eventually they will back off and allow a little bit more distance to go the way of Volcanic.
Yeah, but again, this is something we talked about a little bit on Midtown here. Well, Bill? Bill? In the back line here. They're going to try to get themselves out. Oh no, Recurve notices them here, but Titan is getting back to the cart right now to slow them down. Bill's somehow still alive through all this, eventually loses their life, but now you're just seeing Volcanic clean up a little bit right now. Photon Barrier coming out there from Heavenly. I have to imagine they used that where they did to try to keep Bill alive, and it all failed there.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate position for Bill to be in, and it kind of ends up with them losing the first point. They give it up to Volcanic, and now 3 minutes and 30 seconds. They're looking pretty solid here, especially with Coconut coming up on this overclock that we've seen get so much value tonight, but eventually out goes the tire. Dean and Cam both falling immediately, and yeah, they captured that point, but that cart has barely moved.
Yeah, and this is going to be the hard thing now for Volcanic, because Offmain finds Coconut there. I mean, Titan is going to try to take off as much time as they possibly can here before they lose a fight. They have a beat to sustain them through the next engagement here, especially with Volcanic having that overclock and having the duplicate ready to go right now. If I'm Recurve, I'm looking at someone like Bill, like Offmain, or hell, maybe even Silent. Duplicate into that VAP, give yourself another huge healing character and a huge ultimate, but Silent takes out Recurve early there, so we're not going to see that from them now, but Coconut finds Bill. There's no res on the field. Now the overclock coming out here from Coconut will force Silent to play a little bit safe now.
Bill goes down very early before even the overclock is in play, but eventually the overclock will come into play, finding pros. Not going to find anybody other than that, but another railgun will connect onto Heavenly, and with more players continually going down, Coconut's kind of popping off right now. This cart is finally going to start moving again, thanks in major part to Coconut hitting some phenomenal shots.
But if you're Titan, I mean, you ate about a minute there. You held on to your Terror Surge. You still have a beat. And Volcanic, yeah, they're basically coming up on everything besides the overclock and the beat there for them. So this is going to be a pretty big fight for both sides. Bill already at half health. Is weird, but the Terror Surge coming out needs to be big. Silent will find Dean early. The Immortality will coming out. Nice. You're going to see a trade come out there from both sides, but right now it's going to be Titan in the lead of it now, just trying to get rid of Slimal. They're going to be able to, so a huge fight win for them there. And because this card is pushed so far up, it's going to be really hard for Volcanic to come back in now.
They do have a couple tools to work with here, though. Most notably, they have a duplicate. They have the Flux coming up as well. Window's going to be a little bit harder to use, just based on the fact that they're fighting a literal uphill battle right now, but I don't know, it'll be interesting to see if they can break through this choke. Where's Cam going to put that? Or they're just going to do it now. Good response with the Photon Barrier to almost completely wall off the value of that ultimate, but eventually the Photon Barrier does get broken. That does have a limited health pool.
And they have to use the beat here to get back to Offmain, because Offmain was split up from the rest of their team. It's Bill find the first kill there on to Cam. Offmain finds Coconut. Huge. Recurve has now been holding on to this duplicate now for 3 straight fights.
Wow.
But it's Offmain putting their name in the kill feed with 3.
Fantastic response from Titan. Everything that happened there was just phenomenally done. They used the Photon Barrier to stop the value from the Amplification Matrix. It breaks, but that gave them enough time to kite away from it so that they didn't get hit by any of the boosted damage. Bill goes on the flank, finds a kill. Super well done all around now. And Volcanic, now they still have that duplicate, like you say. They've had it for a while now. They need to find an effective time to use it. But who do they even duplicate here? Looks like the Orisa.
They duplicate into the Orisa here. Dean used their Flux last fight as well, but here comes the animation from Silent. They get Javelin out of it for the moment, but now there goes that duplicate that needed to be bigger than what they found there, but the beat coming out here from Simul. They realize this is the last fight, but it's nice Bill with 2 huge kills, but Dean does find Heavenly there, so now a lot of the turret pressure. Bill now popping the tire, gonna try to find whoever they can, but gets shut down by Dean on that Sigma, but right now overtime has commenced. Titan looking very good at the moment, just trying to clean up. Oh, Dean gets trapped right there. Has to use the grass to keep themselves alive. That overtime clock is ticking down, and Titan gonna be able to send us to a map 6.
That's what I like to see, baby. Titan bringing it back after a couple of really tough maps back to back to back. a couple close losses into a very not close one, but off-name's Orisa was just on point for this entire Shambali Monastery. I have only positive things to say about this Orisa play. Just so good.
The only negative thing I can say right now for either team is actually onto Titan a little bit here. Like you talked about, Offmain looked great on the Orisa throughout this entire map. Why did they come out on the Zarya? Like, the Zarya did not find the value, and once they swapped over to the Orisa, look at what happened. Like, they were immediately able to clear that kind of gap that Dean had with the ultimate charge, and actually overtake Dean in ultimate charge, win a fight, and that kind of kickstarted their entire team here. And after that, Titan looked incredibly great. Volcanic had their moments on this map, but again, they just weren't able to really, really chain them together.
I will never blame a team or be mad at a team for deciding to try something out at the very beginning of a map. Like, you walk out on a Zarya. Honestly, if it works, phenomenal. Like, we get to see Zarya and you get to throw a composition at them that they straight up didn't expect. But, like, if it doesn't work first fight, then you have two options. One, the smart thing. What they did, swap off. Two, stick to it until it either works or loses you the map. And frankly, if you swap immediately, I'm okay with it. Because, like, you're questioning why they do it in the first place. I don't think it matters that much. Because, frankly, if they just wanted to throw a curveball out there, then they did that successfully. But then they went back to their tried and true immediately when it didn't work. So, it all worked out.
But here's the biggest problem now for Titan, trying to keep this series alive. They have to go through map picks for Volcanic, and Volcanic has already decided what our next map will be. It'll be heading to the control map of Ilios.
Ilios, a classic, a very, very beloved map over the history of Overwatch, both 1 and 2. And I'm over here, I'm pretty happy about this personally, because we're not going to Samoa, and I don't know what the submaps on Samoa are called, so I can now make myself not look like an idiot. We've done it. We've done it, chat.
And hey, an update for everyone who wants to know what is going on in our other semifinal as well. Second Chance has won a map there, shutting down the 2 straight map wins for Chicago Deep. So Second Chance is now on series point as well. So both of these series tonight going the distance at the moment. Kind of what I expected from these 4 teams. They were the best 4 teams in the Ascendant Tier all season long. The regular season, they were the only teams with 4 losses. There were no teams with 2 losses. That kind of shows you how good these 4 teams truly were. So we are having ourselves a treat tonight. But right now, heading into Ilios, I mean, what do you necessarily expect here? I mean, Lighthouse and Well, those are the 2 maps I expect to see a lot of play from the Lucios a little bit here, because they have those 2 big environmental kill potentials.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what other character is historically very good on?
I'm not saying it until I see it.
Yeah, you're not going to say it? I'm going to say it. I actually don't think. I hope we finally get to see this Pharah that we've been that was hinted to us, that we've been hinting this whole time to the chat. The chat has doubted. Dex, you've doubted. I've doubted. But if there was ever a time for the Pharah to make its grand return, it would be here on Ilios, and we're going to be starting on Lighthouse.
And again, this is one of those maps I talked about, huge environmental kill potential, because essentially for about 75% around the point, if you're not on it, it is just a cliff of death. And the Lucios, we have seen each team playing right now. And hey, look, again, Recurve not coming out on it. This has to be the biggest trickaroo coming out here from Haruhiro. And even people in the chat have been saying, why is the Pharah guy not on Pharah? But right now, the Genji that they have been playing has looked so much better than what I think the Pharah could have been. And now you're seeing Volcanic again come back out on this Junker Queen comp, which honestly, in my opinion, has really given Titan fits.
Yeah, it's been very, very volatile this series, this whole time. Coconut going to teleport forward, swapping over to the Tracer. Meanwhile, Volcanic teleports forward. And don't swap. Bill is on a very big flank right now, but he's been spotted out. Can he find anything in the meantime? No, looks like not. Cam is going to be able to use that Suzu to keep himself alive. Bill, can you escape, my friend? No, you cannot. Recurve will hunt you down. the power of Genji, the power of verticality, just hunting you down. You can't find any value out of that. Couple sim turrets on the walls, but they will very quickly be dispatched of. No longer a factor in this fight, and Titan's in trouble.
And I like this from Titans. They wanted to try to bunker down on point. These sim turrets are going to cause Volcanic a lot of problems. You see Recurve. They're trying to focus on getting rid of them very early on in the fight so their team can engage without having to be pressured from the turrets here. And now Offman goes off because they want to take care of Dean. Bill will get the credit there for the kill, but it was all Offman there. A huge javelin as we see our first environmental kill of the night. Coconut will get one, but that's going to be the only thing Volcanic gets.
Yeah, and frankly, despite the fact that they lose the first player, Titan plays that phenomenally, easily taking the first control of the point. It's just a dominant fight from there. They play super hard bunker inside of the point, and they just don't let go. Nothing that Volcanic could do about it that whole time, but eventually you will catch someone outside of the bunker. Silent goes down, but so does Recurve in the meantime. Will that be enough for the side of Volcanic? Maybe that pulse bomb seals the deal.
But you still have Offman alive right now. They're going to be able to provide a lot of pressure. Coconut will find Bill right there, peeking out here from Slimo as they desperately want to take this point right now. You do see Offman fortify themselves there, but eventually they will fall. Now it's pros trying to keep this point contested, just build up as much as they can. Coconut will eventually take care of them there. 62% is nothing to scoff at right now if you are Titan. But Volcanic, I mean, they need to be able to win a couple fights here in a row.
Absolutely they do, and unfortunately for them, in the middle of all of that, they used the sound barrier. I'm honestly not sure why they did that. They already had a couple players down. I think that's a pretty crucial misplay, but we'll see going forward how much it matters. Out goes the photon barrier directly onto the point here. Lots of damage going out onto Slimal, enough to take him out, in fact. Sound barrier goes down from pros. There's a 4-man rampage. Everybody's been hit, and this sound barrier is no longer in effect. It's just Lucio healing right now. Everybody's a little bit low, but eventually they do retake the point here.
A 4-man rampage, but it doesn't matter at the end of the rampage if you die, and that's what happened with Dean right there. It's again Bill being able to find kills at convenient times, really helping out their team here. And now Volcanics, they have to come back in this one here. They will have the blade, they will have the pulse bomb ready to go here. But Titan, I mean, this is final fight territory for Volcanic. They have no support ultimates. They use them, and like you said, the beat is probably something they would love to have back. But the tire coming out here from Bill, if it finds two, we could already be seeing the end of Lighthouse.
If it finds one, we could see the end of Lighthouse, and it will. Recurve goes down right away in the fight. No Dragon Blade to work with, and that was the only ultimate Volcanic had even close to being online. Right now, it is going to be struggle city for Volcanic. They need to find a miracle. Recurve needs to get back quickly with this blade in tow, because otherwise it might be over. Dean going down is so bad for them. They have very little point presence now. Out comes the blade, but there's the Terra Surge, and there's a lot of focus damage onto Recurve. The first point will go the way of Titan.
And honestly, you look at everything, you look at how Titan's set up. This is honestly a really great comp for Lighthouse, and only for Lighthouse, in my opinion. You might have some success on Ruins, but you cannot bunker down like you can on Lighthouse. It's a very small capture point here. And the sim turrets that Heavenly was able to put down just provided Volcanic so much trouble, because you saw it there. For a while, Recurve was just solely focusing on trying to get rid of those turrets before he engaged on the point to get anything going. That only helped Titan. And honestly, I mean, Volcanic, you might be needing to make a swap here as we do head over to Ruins. This is the long sightline map here. Normally, I would expect to see a hit scan, but we haven't really seen that from either team right now. And honestly, I'm surprised we're not seeing swaps from either team.
Yeah, we're not seeing a whole lot of hit scan in this series tonight, despite seeing a couple maps where, particularly Shambali, where it could have been effective, just because I think the Hanzo has been more valuable in terms of providing, like, consistent damage. You know, just being able to spam those arrows constantly. But eventually, out goes a little bit of a rush, but Dean with a good shot onto Heavenly's skull. Down goes the Symmetra. Both teams losing a DPS very early here. But Recurve falling mad low, and eventually Bill is going to find that kill.
And now you do see Volcanic here trying to keep this fight alive on point. And oh, Bill, with the mine, or with the trap at your feet, Dean, you didn't see it there, but you got trapped in it and taken out. Now Titan already caps the point right back. But again, I mean, Volcanic needs to get something going here. You talked about the Hanzo that Coconut played there on Trimbali Monastery. I don't think that would be a bad move this map. I think, especially with the long sightlines, the Hanzo would be kind of good here. Coconut needs to get some value on this Tracer. I don't think we saw a lot from the Pulse Bombs on Lighthouse.
Oh, Bill consistently finding these picks like as the fight starts. For Volcanic, the game plan is kill Bill. For Titan, it's Bill, kill. Go.
Somewhere in the background, the Bill Nye the Science Guy intro is playing very silently, and everyone on Volcanic can hear it, and it's starting to annoy them a little bit here. But hey, the only way to silence that is actually killing Bill, like you said. Bill has just been consistently finding picks very early on in fights, and that has caused Volcanic a lot of problems. Yeah, they've been able to trade him out sometimes, but they're just not finding the value to say, oh, this could be huge right now, but it's Heavenly shutting down Slimo, a nice javelin there from off main. We'll get rid of Recurve, but Coconut will find Bill, but it's a little bit too late. It's Heavenly already with 3.
If one DPS falls, the other will take its place and continue to find multi-kills. It's just been phenomenal stuff from the DPS of Titan. But did that spear connect?
Yes.
Oh my god. This guy's crazy. Heavenly's crazy! They're just finding every elimination possible. Slimo goes down immediately. Dean goes down immediately. We're in one fight territory already!
This is not looking good for Volcanic. I mean, Titan is doing everything right here. Look at it. They've only used the Amp Matrix. They're holding on to all their other ultimates here. Volcanic, you're going to have a Rampage here. You're going to have a Kitsune Rush. But you need to get to point first because you have to be able to at least commence overtime.
Somebody's got a touch. It's going to be Coconut. He makes it there. Recalls out at 98. Gonna trigger overtime now, but they need to get to the point pretty quickly here. Out goes the photon barrier, but eventually Recurve goes down first. That's pretty disastrous. The beat goes out. So does the Rampage, though. Not gonna find a whole lot of value. Recurve goes down with the duplicate in hand. You needed to use that, bro. You needed to use that. Tire goes out from Bill. One barrier to protect Slimo from the damage that would have been fatal, but otherwise, Dean looking real low. Coconut looking worse for wear. Down goes Heavenly, though. The Pulse Bomb goes out, but no, finds nothing. But this Tracer is still alive on the point. Recurve gets back to the point. Duplicates the Orisa, but is not going to be long for this world in the duplicate or in the actual form. And just like that, we are going to that map 7 that everybody wanted so badly.
Man, I have been placed on the best series so far this week. The one I had on Monday went 7. The one I have tonight going 7 as well. And we talked about it a little bit on Saravasa. Volcanic looked like the dominant team there, and Titan was lost. Now the tables have turned. Titan looks like the dominant team, and Volcanic seems lost. I mean, Volcanic ran the comp that has been working for them the best throughout the night, and Titan, this comp in the first half of the series was kind of hit or miss, but in the second half of the series, it is hitting 20s every time. They are doing exactly what they need to do. It's working out for them right now. It's been great. And I mean, they forced a map 7. This is huge for them. Volcanic, they're lucky we're going to have a little bit of a break here. They need to rethink some stuff here.
They have map pick. They have a little bit of time to think over what they need to do going into the final map of the series. It's just, this is going to be very dangerous for Volcanic at this point. Obviously, both of them are in the same situation where it is now basically a best of one to decide who goes to the grand finals, but this is dire straits. Volcanic, you need to find something, and you need to find it fast.
I mean, you just said it right. You said it right there. It's a best of one. If you ask both these teams, if your season came down to one map, would you win it? I feel like every player on both these teams will confidently say yes. And we are going to have that map 7 after a quick halftime break here. Still 3-2 in the other series at the moment. So we're going to take a break, go over there and watch that series for a couple minutes, and then hop back over here for the exciting conclusion of Titan versus Volcanic. One map to decide them all. One team will be heading to the grand finals, as they do know who they will be facing now, as Second Chance was able to beat Chicago Deep Dish in the other series 4-2. But Volcanic and Titan here, Gedster, have provided us a series of honestly, this might be series of the season. Both these teams have honestly looked great throughout the night, and at times tonight, I can point to two maps in particular. Definitely on Sharavasa, it was all Volcanic, but on Ilios, it was all Titan. And now Titan is one map win away from going to the grand finals. Same thing could be said for Volcanic here. But who has the momentum here heading in to our final map of the night, Circuit Royale?
And it had to be Circuit Royale, man. If you're the side of Volcanic, you saw that payload was your option, and you were like, what if we went to a map where we can't get jumped by a Junkrat? And as you may expect, seeing Circuit Royale, Titan does in fact sub out Bill, and in comes Calyx, who we did see earlier during Saravasa, but that Saravasa map didn't go great. It just didn't go great last time. We'll put it lightly. It didn't go phenomenally well. I don't think a lot of that falls onto Calyx in particular. I think that it just, frankly, it kind of just looks like Titan has never scrimmed the map type frankly. And I don't know if that's just me being mean or if that's actually what happened, but like
I would not go that far. They probably definitely have, considering in their first series against Bonkers, they swept them, so they had to win a Flashpoint map. But I mean, this is the biggest thing right now. We seen what Bill was able to do on that Junkrat. We talked about it a lot. They're always able to somehow find a pick or two at the start of fights, or before a fight really even got going, that helped their team out so much. Calyx and Heavenly need to be able to try to carry that kind of thing there. You down Bill here a little bit, but I still believe Calyx and Heavenly are two players who are going to be able to do that. But you look over at Volcanic, no swap swim the entire night. Coconut, this is a map that once we saw it was Circle Royale over the break, I kind of said Coconut this makes a lot of sense for Coconut. And Recurve coming out on the Hanzo. That was one I did not expect. I thought we'd be seeing Coconut on the Hanzo, but instead we're seeing the Widow come out from them.
No, yeah, we're seeing the exact opposite of the DPS line that the two of us personally expected. Calyx coming out on the Hanzo. We did see the Hanzo very briefly on Suravasa. It's not a surprise here. But Heavenly is still on this Symmetra. We're only seeing the single sniper Calyx against Coconut and Recurve on Widow Hanzo. This is scary territory. Calyx has to play phenomenally.
It's truly scary territory, especially when you look at Slimal. They're going to be damage boosting one of the two snipers here. A headshot from any range kills now, no matter who you're playing at the moment. It looks like they're going to stick onto Recurve here and let Coconut kind of be on their own, because we've seen Coconut pop up in the past on these hit scan heroes, especially on Shambhalia when they were playing that Hanzo. They were able to kind of end a couple fights pretty early on their own here, but you saw that sonar arrow come out there from Calyx. Coconut knows them there, but does not get the shot. Now they grapple shot up in the air again, missing them there, but still each team just kind of poking out, looking for the first pick there. Oh, a headshot there onto Offmain. They had to use the grasp to get themselves out.
Recurve finding a lot of damage onto Offmain as well. One of the other things that I think is really important in this matchup is the fact that, I'll talk about it in a moment, Offmain finding a pick onto Recurve right off the bat. A whole lot of pressure goes out onto Dean's shield from those storm arrows, and eventually, looks like it may go down, but we're back into that neutral position here. Slimal goes down!
And I have to, Calyx could not see Slimal there. I have to imagine they could not through the tree right there and Offmain in front of them. And honestly, if you're Volcanic now, maybe you consider making a quick swap here just to try to do something. Because even though we criticize maybe Heavenly coming out on the Symmetra here, they are able to melt down Dean's shield a little bit. And I love the pick, actually.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to talk about earlier. The difference between having the Widowmaker and the Symmetra is shield pressure. For a large part, at range, maybe it doesn't matter as much. But once Dean gets up close, Heavenly is melting down the shield into like little tiny atomic level. Yeah,
but right now
we're seeing.
But right now, Titan needs to get something going. They need to find a pick. Flux coming out here from Dean. Offmain tries to throw the equation up there, but missed them. The Photon Barrier coming out here from Heavenly. And just countering out the Ant Matrix, honestly, that's a huge play from them. We've seen basically them do that same thing in the past right now. Still, Volcanic looking for the first kill here. Slimal has to use the Valkyrie to try to keep Dean alive, doing a good job. The Immortality Field also coming out from them, but still no kills coming out. Now Recurve throws the Dragon. Still nothing. Titan doing a great defense right now. But Coconut finally finds the first pick. Here comes the Flux. It only hits Cam, but they're going to be able to keep themselves alive.
Yep, Cam stays alive with the help of Slimal. Just that yellow beam glued to him. Gonna keep him alive through that ultimate. And it doesn't find a whole lot of value, but Pros still has that Transcendence to work with. That can stall out this point for a long time. But you know what? Widowmaker doesn't care about the Transcendence. She can still one-shot you through that. It's only 300 HP per second. It's not immortality. But it doesn't look like that'll happen here. Recurve is going to be the one to find the first pick onto Silent, potentially breaking open this point. Those turrets go down. Cam goes down as well, though. It's a 1-for-1. Looking pretty decent so far, and Dean is going to be the one using the next ultimate. Offmain goes down, and that might just be it. Volcanic will take the first point.
And Volcanic, I mean, it was a little bit of a tough one there. Pros gonna be able to find Slimal. That's not a problem right now. The card's gonna take a little bit, or the race car is going to take a little bit to get going here. But honestly, I would not have been surprised if we saw one of the two DPS swap off. But Coconut seems to have been coming alive now on the Widowmaker, and that is something very scary for Titan. Do not let Coconut get hot, because remember, that is what Haruhiro told us. If they get hot, it is scary.
Yeah, Coconut has shown that a couple times throughout the series, just putting his team absolutely on his back. Out goes the Dragon Strike in the general direction of a couple supports. Not going to find anything quite yet, but it pressures out off main into a bad position, and down he goes. But eventually, another trade goes through. Cam, unfortunately, falling several times in a couple opening engagements at this point. So
yeah, but you see Slimal there. Res. Get them back off with the res. They use the Valkyrie to try to keep everyone supported through that damage. It's a good play there from Slimal, but now there's no ultimates on the side of Volcanic. Titan still does have the Photon Barrier, but that can only do so much. They are coming up on the Transcendence as well, so they'll be able to keep them alive. But Recurve says no Transcendence this fight. You're going to have to live with only the Photon Barrier.
Photon Barrier, definitely an ultimate you're okay with playing around, but without your Zenyatta, you lose out on a lot of target focus with the help of that Discord Orb, and a lot of damage just in the first place. But here comes a Flux from off main, doesn't seem to find a whole lot, but Cam does eventually go down, and so does Slimal. Really well played from off main, and Dean will try to escape with his life, going down to 11 HP in the process.
Dean is somehow going to be able to escape here. Actually, never mind. Spoke a little bit too soon. Off main says, nah, no escape for you. Go back to the spawn. And that's just a great play there from off main. This staggers out Volcanic a little bit right now, but you look at the ultimate still. Pros does have that Transcendence ready to go, so when that Flux comes out from Dean, if they need to use it, they can use it there, but I would be expecting maybe something a little bit different from them here, but Pros cannot get their head taken off like they did early last fight. I thought Volcanic might have been able to win the point off that there, but they were not able to. Now, again, watch out for Coconut, watch out for Recurve. They've been able to land some headshots here recently. Heavenly, though, still, those turrets do a lot, especially when you're not paying attention to them. Off main, though, gets incredibly low.
He falls very low, but with the use of some great cooldown usage, he keeps himself alive. There's the Transcendence to just keep people alive through that ultimate. And Recurve is the first to fall in the fight. Calyx with a couple of very well-placed shots. Eventually, that will get rezzed up after the Valkyrie is dedicated to it. But the Rock connects, still not able to find that pick. Recurve throws out the Dragon Strike immediately after getting revived, but it doesn't seem to find anything. Coconut falls super low, but does seem to be fine at this point. Finds the headshot onto Heavenly. Super well done. Silent may need to use this window, and there it is. Nothing to deny it right now, so they kind of just have to back off or aggress into it. The window will come out to counteract it, but a Photon Barrier straight through it.
Yeah, and right now you're Volcanic, 12 seconds on the clock. You are running out of time. This is your final fight territory right now. Flux coming out here from off main. Only captured, I believe, Dean and Recurve. Immortality Field will keep them all alive. But again, you have no ultimates of your own here. Same thing for Titan. So this could be a pretty much. They don't touch card! They don't touch card! No!
No! Oh no! There's no way the push ends like that. They simply don't hold W in time. They just don't get there. And they only get to the top of the hill on second point. No further. Oh no.
And you know, map 7. I mean, we've seen slight mistakes from each team so far, but now the mistakes, while they might be small, they just become huge. It doesn't matter what they are. And that one could come back to haunt Volcanic here. And hey, I can talk about it now. Recurve, the Pharah guy.
It's here!
With the Pharah. This has to be a season-saving play from them here, because Volcanic, I mean, they might not have been able to win that fight there, or they might have been able to win it and get point B, and we would still be talking about them pushing here. It needs to be big, especially because Calyx, in my opinion, throughout that first round there, got a lot better, or they warmed up, they heated up throughout that first round there. They were landing shots, they were finding picks. But this Pharah pick, we haven't seen it all night. It might be something that Titan does not expect, but hey, this time though, unlike what we saw in Midtown where they had really no one to deal with it, they have 3 good heroes, in my opinion, to deal with it. However, 2 of them are still supports.
Yep. It's gonna be— oh no! losing recurve, that quickly means you have to burn the resurrection. That's a
no.
30-second cooldown immediately out of the way.
And look at what this does here for Titan. Offman just goes to the Diva instead, saying, hey, we're just going to eat all that. I'm not going to worry about the far in the sky.
Oh, this is already looking so solid for Titan. Getting that pick right off the bat is a huge morale booster. Not to mention burning that cooldown, like mentioned. It should be back right about now. No pick in the meantime. Volcanic's been doing a great job of playing very patiently, but so much damage onto this Sigma. A couple headshots from Calyx.
And Coconut
It's looking so solid.
Coconut gonna be able to find Heavenly there. Volcanic, this is a huge point for them right now. They need to play around
Oh
this corner, but Calyx says no. Farah in allowed on this map. Shuts down Recurve for the second time and now looking for more. But you're gonna see Coconut find them there. Now Coconut, they're coming back on this Hanzo. We saw him kind of take over the map a little bit on Shambali. They need to do it here again, but Pros shuts them down. The Raz coming back out to get Coconut back into this one here as Recurve has decided to forego the Farah, go over to a Tracer instead. And honestly, I really like that swap here, especially with off main here on the Diva.
I very much like that swap happening. Coconut already charging up a Dragon Strike, by the way. He's going to throw it out there. Recurve going to be the first to fall in this next fight. 2.5 minutes currently on the clock, by the way. Silence going to throw out the window in an attempt to poke out any other damage that could happen here. Slimeball is going to fall, so's Coconut. It's just Dean on the point right now. They got to clear him off, and then they'll have point A free. And now for Titan, their victory is right in front of them, laid bare. The golden box of victory, 82 meters in. They just need a little bit more.
4.5 minutes right now. Volcanic needs to have an insane 4.5 minute point B defense right now, and Titan already kind of set up. Calyx playing these corners, the mine, they're going to be able to punish them, but the turrets, no, you forgot about the turrets. Calyx already shuts down Coconut. Their Slimel uses the Valkyrie here. Will we see a res come out? The Matrix coming out, but Cam gets shut down by Calyx, who was caught alive at the right time.
Calyx has absolutely
the pulse bomb
performed. Oh no, the pulse bomb is gone!
Bomb came out there from Offman, does not find anyone as I believe Dean used their entire shield. They have a flux ready to go already, not even a minute into this push here, and Titan less than 20 meters away. The flux coming out, only going to capture here Heavenly, and not going to be able to kill him there. Now the Photon Barrier comes out, Dragon comes out, will shut down Silent, but again, Volcanic needs to be able to play the cart here. Dean gets incredibly low, the Visor coming out here from Calyx. You do see the kills going Volcanic's way, so Volcanic might be able to kind of have a short breath, a sigh of relief here, but they still have 3.5 minutes ahead of them.
3.5 minutes now to defend the next not even 4 meters of distance to gain. And a swap comes out from Titan. We are over to the Sigma mirror. No more Diva, no more Farah in play. This makes a lot of sense. This Recurve Tracer, though, is staying, interestingly enough. We are not seeing a swap in that department.
And the Recurve Tracer, we might see a swap if they lose their life here, but honestly, at this point, if you're Volcanic, you really can't afford to lose anyone early. Coconut able to keep themselves alive here. Silent uses that background. Calyx, though, finds one. Recurve will find Pro ZD or Pro right back to find them there. Try to even it out a little bit, but now again, Offman gonna be able to shut down Cam. Dean falls. This is looking like the beginning of the end. Titan will be able to do it. They're gonna be able to lock themselves in to the grand finals, winning the final 3 maps over Volcanic.
And a C9 will hunt Volcanic for the rest of the off-season until they get to go again. But for now, they walk home, heads hung low, while Titan, I'm sure their entire VC is just yelling right now. They are, that was absurd. That was absurd.
I would have to agree with you. Titan's VC has to be absolutely static at this moment. I mean, look at this map. Look at the history here. They won Nepal, an incredibly close Nepal. And if Volcanic wins that Nepal there, they sweep. Yeah, we might see a different Titan come out at some point, but like, Suravasta, I thought was a turning point for the series because Volcanic looked incredibly well. And in my opinion, it was a turning point, but not for them, for Titan. Yeah, they came back and lost Colosseo, but it was incredibly close. And then Shambali happens, and Shambali was so good for Titan. Ilios, even better. I felt like they figured out how to play around Volcanic on this Junker Queen comp that they were playing throughout the majority of the series here tonight. And then when they come out on the Sigma, something that we did see a little bit throughout the series, it just wasn't able to have the same punch that the Junker Queen had, but you couldn't play the Junker Queen on Circuit Royale.
No, it's just not possible. There's too many long sight lines. You have to play poke. It has been decided since this map came out that it's just how you play it. You gotta play poke. You gotta play the long sight lines, and Queen simply does not work in that context. And I mean, you roll out on something you think you can still win with, and frankly, they could have. It was still such a winnable game for them. But an unfortunate Charlie Niner at the very end, that's what sealed the deal.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing incredible plays throughout this entire series here tonight right now. And I mean, we talked about it a lot. There was really no one that everyone played to their best abilities tonight. This was an incredibly close series. It went 7 maps. But again, slight mistakes as the series goes on, they compound and become bigger and bigger mistakes. And we could, like you said, Volcanic, they might have their heads hung low a little bit because of that C9, but I mean, I don't think they should. They played incredible throughout it. Yeah, they would love to be playing for the grand finals next week, but sometimes, I mean, it's just not meant to be. In Titan, coming out of that first halftime break, they looked like a different team, while Volcanic, yeah, they looked good at the first map after halftime, but it seemed like Titan just knew they needed to get through the push map, and then they would be back on maps that they were comfortable on. Just
a phenomenal series all around. Both teams playing incredibly. That I love. I gotta say, even though it didn't work out, I love the fact that they gambled the recurve Pharah at the very end. Like, if that had actually worked, it would have been quite possibly one of the most legendary moments in like any map 7 series I've ever seen. Yeah, but man, it just doesn't end up working out, and it just snowballs from there. And eventually Titan get that win secured. Congrats to them. The number 1 seed moves on to the grand finals. And speaking of moving on to the grand finals, I think we have a bracket to show you.
Yeah, we talked about going into that final map there. Second Chance was able to beat Chicago Deep Dish 4-2. And from what I kind of saw during our last break there and what the production was talking about, it was incredibly close on the 6th map of Samoa, but Second Chance was able to squeak out a win, and now they're going on to play Titan. And you know, to pardon the pun on words here, but Titan might be the Titans of the Ascendant Tier here right now. An incredibly good team, but both these teams throughout the regular season, incredibly good. They've been incredible in the playoffs. I mean, it's gonna be an incredible series next Wednesday for these two. I mean, like, you're gonna want to tune into this.
Yeah, don't miss it. Right here, same time, same channel, twitch.tv/tranquilitygg. The grand finals of the Ascension Tier will be next week. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we sign off for the night, I want to give a quick thanks to everyone behind the scenes. Hippy, Beam, Orange, Kryy, Poofa, they all did incredible on this series here tonight. Also, make sure you guys tune back in tomorrow for the Discord tier semifinals. Both A and B streams. The A stream will be the number 1 overall seed Space Created versus number 5 Dirt Esports, while the B stream will be the number 3 overall seed Clairvoyance versus the number 2 seed Louisiana Lobsters. A lot more action going to be happening tomorrow here on Tranquility. And Gedster, I said this, there's only been one series, I believe, so far of these semifinals that's been a sweep. Other than that, the minimum that we've got is 6 maps. So you're in for a treat no matter what tomorrow. But again, that will do it for us. Congratulations to Titan for making it to the grand finals, where they will take on Second Chance next Wednesday. Have a nice night, y'all.